The teeth are awesome.
They about PFT size laying down.
That's really funny, Aaron.
It's true. There's 5'5". Why are you getting mad at me? Because I'm speaking facts. What are you mad at me for?
All right, welcome back to another episode of Macrodosing. It's Thursday. It's May 2nd. We got the whole squad with us on this call today. Wonton Don's going to be joining us in a little bit to get into one of the topics, and then we're going to talk about the OJ trial. But right off the bat, want to do some housekeeping here on the show, and it's a sad day on Macrodosing. Today is going to be Billy Football's last day on the show. I love Billy. I've worked with Billy for about 7 years, off and on, almost on a day-to-day basis, and he's one of the best dudes I know. And whatever he ends up doing going forward, he's got my full support, and I'm gonna love him. I'm gonna listen to him. I'm gonna consume the content, and I might even donate further to his congressional run for office, which I'm sure he's gonna talk a little bit about later. So Billy, I'll kick it over to you. But I love you. We love you, and we want nothing but the best for you. Okay.
Thank you for those kind words. Thank you to all of you guys. The remote thing hasn't worked out as we've all sort of decided. Basically, if you haven't known, sending the large macrodosing file doesn't work from the New York City HQ Wi-Fi. Mackenzie, I don't know if you want to just back that claim up, because like she has to edit the podcast. It's faster for me to upload it from Wi-Fi at my house or anything. But with that sort of made me disconnected from Barstool HQ. I'm sort of only involved in macrodosing. And honestly, the quality of the podcasting content from my end hasn't been up to snuff. We thought we could make it work when I didn't go to Chicago. It hasn't worked out. Maybe you guys, the listeners, have realized that. I'm sorry. I maybe try to hang in there for too long and lied to myself about the quality. But yeah, so, it's been we discussed it. I realized that I sort of was in no position to try to keep fighting. So, hey, I'm going to be going off, hopefully creating some content that you guys like. It sucks. Loved hanging out with everyone twice a week. It is truly a blessing to sort of be able to shoot the shit for your job. And I, hope to continue that. But basically, I'm excited to start stuff on my own. But at the same time, it sort of sucks that it got to this point. And I really hope that, the listeners, whether you liked me, hated me, I hope I made you at least feel something, because I think hopefully people listen to, I don't know why you listen, but hopefully you got something out of me being on the show. But at least you listened. Yeah. So I got a new project moving forward. I'm pretty excited. I've been on a lot of other people's podcasts for a long time. And I finally will kind of get creative control of my own podcast. It's called Audio Crack. Hopefully first episode will be out on Friday. Please check the socials. Check the Barstool blog, will be out there. Audio crack spelled as CRAIC. If you know what I'm talking about, crack is a good time. Like, it's an Irish term for just a fun time. And
wait, are you Irish?
Be a fun time. Can you guess?
Yeah. Audio crack. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to subscribe. I encourage everybody else to subscribe. That's the only place where you'll be able to get Billy Football's thoughts. And it's free. You can get Billy's thoughts.
It's free.
Downloaded into your pocket for free. What a world we live in.
It actually might get auto downloaded. I'm working stuff up with Apple. It's gonna be like the U2 album. So we'll see how, honestly, maybe I realize, hey, you know what? I can't stand on my own. Maybe this life isn't for me. And, it doesn't happen, but we're going to shoot and we're going to see if we score. But I appreciate everyone for being around, putting up. I'm not the easiest person to deal with, so I appreciate you guys tolerating me while you could. So, to the listeners, I hope I provided something you liked.
Yeah.
But thanks to you guys, and let's just rip a nice last show, and let's not make it weird.
Let's do it. This is going to be a little bit weird because we've compiled a list of our favorite Billy moments from Macrodosing. And so I'm going to read them off to you. And we're going to put some clips in because you've had a lot of all-timers. You probably lead the league in all-timers. The Poison Ivy story.
Yo.
Poison Ivy story was a great one.
Hold on, did we ever get confirmation of if that actually happened or not? Did that happen?
I think
so. I try. Okay, so yeah, you know what?
Now's the time to clear.
Yeah. Speak your truth,
I did
Billy.
rub poison ivy on my balls, but it was a bet with my friends. There wasn't an adult involved, but I thought it would be funny, like Theo Vaughn type stories. I don't know. I'm podcasting, just trying to figure out something that's funny that works.
And Billy, it
was based on a true story.
But Billy, that's the thing is like it did work, for sure.
It did work.
Yeah.
Basically, I've always been like I had people who always got poison ivy. I never got poison ivy. So I was like,
that's not the
I was like, I've never gotten poison ivy.
What was the situation to where somebody was like, hey, I bet if you rub this on your balls, you'll get itchy? And you was like, nah. Like, what was
the situation? The situation is, I'm basically right now, like I am. Like, I'm like, someone got poison ivy.
Yeah.
They're like, don't go in there. There's poison ivy. I'm like, I never get fucking poison ivy. And they're like, what the fuck you mean you never get poison ivy? I was like, I'm not being a dickhead. I'm not like, I'm tougher than poison ivy. I never get poison ivy. And then the guy was like, oh yeah, rub it on yourself. It's like, I'll fucking rub it on myself 100%. He goes, like, you won't rub poison ivy on your fucking balls for like, I'll give you $1,000. Like, you won't fucking do it. And I was like, I'll fucking do it right now.
And you talked him down to 500.
I don't even remember. I think it was like he said, okay, 500 because that's what he had on him. And I like it was also
how old were you?
I was like 13. And
a 13-year-old had $500.
No, it was okay. This is where it kind of gets weird. It was a father. It was but like you can see, but like it was one of my like, no, it wasn't weird. It sounds much weird.
Billy, if this happened, it was a crime.
It wasn't.
If
weird.
this happened, it was a crime.
You saying a father
told
a 13-year-old to
no, this sounds much worse.
Was he a youth soccer referee?
No, this sounds such no. Okay, you know what? You guys are weird for thinking this was weird. It was dudes. It was guys being dudes.
Totally
no, it was guys being dudes. It was a fucking barbecue. Everyone was chilling.
Okay, the thunder and lightning debate. When Billy realized that thunder was the sound that lightning made, but also it's not always the sound. Okay, the lightning round with Billy football.
Let's try to get Billy canceled.
It goes thunder.
Okay, well that's the same sound. Lightning doesn't have sound.
Well, no, lightning makes sound when it strikes, but then thunder comes in later.
No, thunder is the sound that
no.
Lightning
have you ever
makes.
Seen lightning strike?
Yes,
in a video?
Yes.
Everyone's hair goes up.
And real life.
Wait.
Billy, did I just blow your...
No.
Billy, come on.
No, wait.
Thunder is the
Say
sound,
psych.
Billy. Come on.
Say psych, dude.
No, I'm thinking because when it actually
think your way out of this
fire,
one.
No, when it actually catches fire, that makes a separate sound, or is that the same sound?
It's the same sound. Oh, man. Thunder is the sound that lightning makes. What did you think thunder was?
No, I always knew that thunder came from lightning, but I thought it had something to do with like the clouds in the air as opposed to the actual strike on the ground, because isn't there some lightning that never hits the ground?
Yeah. Cloud to cloud.
Wouldn't lightning that hits the ground that like actually strikes make a different sound technically because of its effect on the earth than lightning that doesn't hit the ground?
Well, yeah, if lightning hits a tree, that makes a different sound than if lightning hits the water.
That's what I'm saying. That's the differtion I'm looking for.
They're both thunder. The sound is both thunder.
I'm just asking questions.
The Pluto galactic mining.
What is that?
The interview with the chickens.
That was when everyone was at the Barstool Awards and we had like that like Billy and me and Mackenzie episode.
Oh, I must have just missed that one.
Yeah. And it was basically Billy saying that whoever gets rights to Pluto will have galactic mining rights. Billy, you know more about that, but.
Oh yeah, no, basically we, somewhat like an alien invasion might try to mine Pluto, and we might think that Pluto is important, and like we might fight a war over Pluto just because it's like one of those things that territorial creatures do.
That might happen. That actually might happen.
Long-term implications of stripping Pluto of its planet status.
I think it's going to really have an impact on galactic mining in the future. Like let's say 1,000 years we're mining other planets for resources. Pluto not being a planet is going to have a lot of the same effect of some of the Caspian Sea, the countries bordering the Caspian Sea. None of them agree on whether the Caspian Sea is a lake, a sea, or an ocean. I think it's the Caspian Sea. Okay, wait, no, maybe it's not the Caspian Sea. I think it's like the Black Sea, or there is a body of water where all the countries don't actually agree on its designation. And because of that, they all can fuck around in there and get away with what they want to get away with and not have to adhere to an international law. That's going to happen with Pluto in some regards. If we don't designate Pluto as a planet, it might be like, oh, because Pluto isn't a planet, it can be mined by private corporations.
Billy curing alpha-gal. And you are cured, right?
Yes, I am cured. I actually have a video coming out. You guys see that?
Yeah, should we yeah, so Billy has how to cure alpha-gal. Do you want that on the Audio Crack YouTube page, or do you want that?
You know what? I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that content. Sorry.
Okay.
It's really valuable. I know you guys would be missing it.
Okay. The science fairs, both the science fairs, you were fantastic. When you made the volcano come.
Yes.
Made the frogs gay as well.
Made the frogs gay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a good one.
So now to the science. So we've all heard the internet meme, the quote that has spanned various ends of the internet from our man, Alex Jones. Mm-hmm. Alex Jones once claimed that the chemicals in the water are turning the frogs gay. No, dude, you fucking do it.
All right.
No,
give it to me. Go. Stop, dude. No, I can't see it. Okay, no, sure. It's going to be fine. Pour it all in. Yeah. It jizzed.
That's a strong flow.
That's pretty good.
How long is this thing going to jizz for?
Now, what kind of substance is that? Is that a foam?
That is science jizz.
When Billy asked me to name 4 planes, and then I named 4 planes right in his face, and then he told me I was gatekeeping planes.
Still feel that way?
Maybe. I like that Billy really thought he had me on that
he was on the edge of his seat.
This is the planes all over again. When Billy was like, name 3 planes. Totally
I said I am going to go with.
Oh, by the way, I was running this morning. I saw 4 F-22s whiz overhead, like over the Hudson, kind of like.
They were on your 6?
You really don't know planes, Billy.
Yeah.
Those are not F-22s.
What were they then?
My guess.
That like sound breaking.
I was going to say, I feel like that would have been on the news.
And also,
I know enough about
Billy, have a picture.
Yeah, okay, let me see. I'll identify the plane for you,
Well, the thing is, they flew by me so fast, I couldn't even get a good picture.
They definitely did not break the sound barrier. You're not allowed to break the sound barrier over residential neighborhoods. It'll shatter windows.
Maybe over the Hudson. They went by pretty fast.
Yeah, there's no buildings near the Hudson River, you fucking moron.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There's no buildings near the Hudson River.
I'm making fun of you. It might be the most densely populated part of the United States.
Well, if you fly, you're not allowed to fly over, but there's no buildings underneath if you're over the Hudson River.
If 4 F-22s in formation flew over the river,
here's
a couple issues.
You're gatekeeping planes. I just want to show you these fucking planes. I'm educating you. I just want to show you these fucking planes that I saw this morning and talk to you about planes. They flew by so fast. That's all I could get.
But how the fuck is you going to identify a plane?
I'll identify it.
By the way, you can buy a MiG-29 for, I think it's a MiG-29 for $17K from Kazakhstan.
Cheap as fuck. Those Russian planes aren't worth shit.
I mean, if you were really, a plane guy, I thought you would like maybe buy a plane.
I've actually considered buying one. Billy, I've been looking for buying planes for the last like 6 months because I saw a MiG-19.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could. It's basically scrap metal. I don't think it could fly. I probably wouldn't even want to fly it. I'd probably just sit in it like a child.
What does storage for a plane cost?
That's how they get you.
I'm sure.
It's you got to get a hangar.
Right.
Yeah, and then you gotta pay for upkeep and maintenance. It's a big racket. I just want the cockpit, and I just
What's
want
gas on a plane these days?
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, there's no telling.
No telling at all.
Honestly,
Now,
isn't jet fuel kind of cheaper than gasoline?
I don't know.
I can't imagine.
Well, because you buy so much of it.
No, and I think demand is less.
$6.50 a gallon. Not as much as I would have anticipated.
$650.
So as of April 26,
$6.48.
No, it's $2.59 per gallon.
I'm seeing $6.50 a gallon.
That's still cheaper than I would have thought.
The index is a daily average of the price of jet fuel in Chicago, Houston, Los Angeles, and New York. That's the national average. But the index, okay, who knows? But that, yeah. Oh, but they include Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
That's why the national average is higher.
But they got a lot of oil up in Alaska.
Yeah, I feel like
they don't have refineries.
And everybody that flies a plane up there crashes it. So you don't have as many pilots up there.
How many gallons of fuel does a commercial plane need?
Off the top of my head, I'm going to guess.
I thought you were a plane guy.
I don't fly commercial. I fly an F-16, and I have 3 external tanks on it.
A 747 burns 3,600 gallons of fuel per hour.
How much is Taylor Swift burning?
Probably
more.
Name an astronomical number.
She probably just does it for fun. Billy's moment where he talked about giving TRT to dogs that don't have their balls. Great idea. Another winning Billy football idea.
Well, why don't we do testosterone replacement therapy for neutered dogs? I've been thinking about this for a long time.
Yeah?
Like TRT for dogs without balls.
Your dog has low T right now?
Well, my dog has the vet, even though my dog runs 4 days a week, 2 miles, 7:30 pace, and only eats 2 cups of food a day, he apparently has a weight issue. And I was trying to tell the vet, my dog must have low T because you recommended to chop his balls off, and that is why he has a weight issue. And she was like, no, it could be his thyroid. I was like, no, we run every day, 4 days a week mostly, and then he's only eating 2 cups of food. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if I couldn't fathom giving him less than a cup of food.
I just think it's very funny that Billy's getting into arguments with a veterinarian using Joe Rogan science, but applied to his dog. Billy's entire Uganda football saga, which I honestly thought was one of the best pieces of content that we've done as a company. It was really good. It was very, very good, including the crying afterwards, because you knew Billy cared.
And they played so damn hard and they got screwed by the referees. Oh man, this made me really emotional. I went to war with them, and the fact that they didn't get a win was terrible because they fought so damn hard. They did everything right. They did everything right. They did everything right, and they got robbed. We were getting 5 yards every carry, and they kept moving the first down markers. The worst thing was that they trusted me, and we didn't get the win. I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. It's just hitting right now. I never watched Ted Lasso. I'm exhausted, but I played in the game and I fought with them. I love you, Mom. I gotta go. How do I look? I look rough, but do I look like I was crying?
Well, by the way, real quick, if there's any assistant college coaches, JUCO, even prep schools, we got 2 guys who can ball. Please reach out. I'll reach out to you. These guys, they know how to use a common app, and we're looking at schools right now. So send them my way, please.
At the time that Billy called Travis Kelce soft, and then he had to back it up.
That was on this podcast.
Yeah, then he had to back it up to his face, and he did, kind of. You didn't say the S word to him, but Travis Kelce actually had your side in the argument. He said Billy makes some good points. And he started running through people a little bit this year.
He did. I mean, some say I may have influenced them to date Taylor Swift by my comments. So who knows?
Some say that they owe you a ring, that the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl without Billy football.
There is a sliding doors moment there.
called 9
Yes,
different guys
yes.
Baby Gronk
Well,
since Rob Gronkowski.
yeah.
Travis Kelce has been called Baby Gronk, but then he just
He
grew
will never
into.
be.
What do you mean? Because he doesn't block.
Because he runs soft. I just have to say it. He doesn't lower the shoulder on anybody. The man got pile drived on the 5-yard line. He turns around and he like wiggles. He like runs like a quarterback.
Good thing that you're not going to meet Travis Kelce in a couple weeks at Tight End University, Billy, because it'd be a real shame if somebody were to clip that and then tweet it out and then let Travis Kelce know that you're coming.
Not dragging people.
You're going to have to try to tackle Travis Kelce now. You think you could tackle him?
Ah, shit.
You said he runs like a bitch.
You think Travis Kelce's bad at football?
No, I don't think he's bad. I think he's very good, but I just don't think he has the mentality.
Wow.
He doesn't have a tight end mentality.
He doesn't have the mentality to be great.
He's also a fellow podcaster.
Yeah.
Oh man, Billy, you're
Fuck.
gonna have to try to. Tackle
I hate
Travis
that. I
Kelce.
hate that. I have to like meet these people. Like,
No,
why
you don't.
Can't I just be talking
going
shit?
to Tight End University is like what you've been trying to do out of this job for the last 3 years. We
I know, I'm
finally
so
said
happy.
okay.
I'm
Sounded
so
to me
happy.
like Billy was asking permission to not go.
I just wish I could talk shit with no repercussions, like I'm in the locker room or at the lunch table with my buddies.
Okay, so you want to not go?
No, I'll go. I'll say it to his face.
Oh, is it if it isn't the consequences of our own actions?
Yes, he just doesn't run like Gronk. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Billy.
He's
sowing.
very good. I will say
Billy
it to his
sowing.
face.
This rules. I love this. Billy reaping. What the fuck? This sucks.
Should we have Billy come
Yeah,
and say his piece?
Billy, come on in.
So
Yeah,
come on, Billy.
It's interesting that you're on the show right now.
Come on in, Billy.
I can play you.
Come talk to Baby
because
Gronk.
Billy will lie
Let him
about
just say it. Let him
about
just
what he
say it.
said.
Only play it if he lies. Let him
Billy
say
will-
it. I want to see it. I want to hear him try to say it.
Billy will lie about what he said.
I'll own
No,
up to
I
it.
wanna-
I'll own up to
All
it.
right,
I'm
say
owning
it.
up to it.
Okay. Say the exact same thing you said. Said.
Say it to his face. Look at him.
Okay.
To his face.
I have been a bit of a critic.
That's fair.
Put that out there.
That's fair.
Huge fan of your route
No,
running.
no.
Okay.
This is still truth.
Okay.
I just think you could be a little more. And congratulations on leading. Congratulations on leading the league in yards after the catch.
Thank you.
But just you could end a couple of those, like run someone over. You could run a little more physical.
He thinks
Okay,
you
I
run
hear you.
soft.
Yeah, I don't. I think
I mean, I'm an
crafty-
agile runner, man. I'm an agile runner.
crafty, but I think you're running. You could run someone over. I think it's because you can, but you don't, and that's what.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, you know, what you're saying isn't wrong. There's times where I turn on the film, I press play, and I'm like, that was soft.
Wow.
That was soft, yeah.
Billy.
I'm my own worst critic, so I'll admit to it. There are times at that. But there's times where I stick my fucking face in the fan. You can't say it's every time.
Yeah.
When Billy deleted the episode, that was an all-time moment, resulting in a very long, drawn-out argument over whether or not he did, in fact, delete the episode.
Isn't that we're doing right now?
It's not an accident. You pressed the wrong button.
Do you think I wanted to turn it off?
No, I never said you did it on purpose. But you did
No,
it. But you did it.
Like if you restart the whole thing, it can
But, like,
open
Billy,
up the switcher
We're
or
pressing the
backup
same
switcher.
buttons I press, and it's not turning off.
Billy,
That's-
it
It's
might
just fucking. It's just ridiculous.
You did it. You did this.
It was a fluke thing that we're seeing.
You pressed
They-
it. You pressed the wrong button. You
Is there-
personally
is
put
so-
your
hold on.
finger on the button
If I'm pressing
and pressed it.
record, that's not shutting the whole thing off.
We're not recording anything right now, though, Billy.
I get it. I don't have an answer as to why it happened yet.
You did it, though. Just admit that you did.
Yes,
this.
I pressed the button, but
Yes,
but
yes.
The consequential action of what happened for pressing the button is not equivalent to what I did.
You think that you pressed the button and the system did something, just like invented something and said, "Let's fuck Billy over."
But I'm never going to forget that when Billy came on stage at the Pop Punk concert and sang Born to Run with us and crushed it. No one thought Billy could do it. He was a little Bruce Springsteen up there. That was awesome.
No
All
one
the
thought I could do a lot of things, and I did them.
Yeah.
Let's just remember that.
Yeah.
Talk your shit, man.
Billy.
Everyone thought this congressional run was going to be a flop.
I didn't.
Hey, no, you did.
I did not. Once
you
you got when you were on TV, I was like, Billy actually has a chance.
People thought I was going to get knocked out by Jose Canseco and it was going to be a joke. You know, I've been in a lot of those situations.
Don't bet against Billy. The debate about running to the moon. That was a good one.
You know what?
It was crazy, not the craziest thing he's said.
Yeah.
It would take 60 years at the pace that the guy who was running from South Africa to Tunisia did it in. But you could run to the moon if you ran his pace for 60 years.
With no stops.
No, with stops. Like how many stops he's taking currently would take 60 years.
So you're allowed to sleep?
Yes, you're allowed to sleep. It would just be an arduous life.
Billy on Fox talking about his congressional run, all-time moment. Guys can't buy houses. When he flipped the question on the interviewer's face after she tried to talk down to him at the start of it, and she asked him, "Are you supporting President Trump?" And Billy said, "I would accept Trump's support if he offered it." It was a brilliant piece of politics. I know you didn't mean to do it. I know you didn't go into that interview thinking you were going to do that, but that is a very good answer to that question in the political
great
word.
answer.
It's a fantastic answer. The handshake when you turn into a politician in front of her eyes on Newsmax, where you did the confident handshake with the eyes, it's like Billy has a talent for this. There's been so much. I'm not even getting into the part of my takes moments that we've had together, but there's been hundreds of them, and I loved getting to work with you, Billy, all these years, and I'll be listening to Audio Crack. So, in the words of Billy Football, let's not make it weird. Let's have a banger episode.
Also, this has nothing to do with the campaign, me leaving. Nothing to do with the campaign.
I'm still supporting the campaign.
It'd be so sick if Billy was in Congress.
It would be, yeah. I'm rooting for you. Mike LaPetrie can suck my dick. Don't tell him to do that online.
Also, Friday, we're putting out a podcast. Friday, you're going to hear about a lot of stuff. You're going to hear about campaign update on Audio Crack, campaign update. We're going to go into a little more about this departure. And we're going to have Dirty Water Don on, and the Wonton Don will also be joining us. And topics megafauna, prehistoric megafauna. So it should be a good time. It'll be swell, and it's going to be rocket. We have a couple of guests lined up already. I'm going to tease some of them. I won't tease them now. I'll tease them in the first episode. You got to check it out. But we got a good lineup, so I'm pumped. And it's going to be great to get more involved with New York office again.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a prehistoric megafauna right now.
Saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah.
You are.
Oh, is that what that is? Damn.
You are.
They're doing pretty good, aren't they?
They're down 3-2. We should have won
they're
the series
extinct.
in 5, but we're back. We might be back.
They're no longer in existence.
He was talking about the hockey team.
Yep.
They're barely in existence. They're
still alive, but barely breathing.
Endangered species. That's another one. That's another one, by the way, they should bring back for Jurassic Park. I feel like I do this once every 6 months. One of these billionaires, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Taylor Swift, Oprah Winfrey, do Jurassic Park. We have the technology for it. Bring back all these
mammoths.
Yeah, we're doing it with mammoths. Bring back the fucking T-Rex.
Well, they think the mammoths will stop global warming, which I'm all for.
How much worse, though, is a saber-toothed tiger than just a regular tiger?
You mean in terms of ferocity?
Yeah, like they weren't that much bigger, were they?
I don't know.
Oh, no. A saber-toothed tiger was about the size of a cave lion. So like Smilodon is the largest saber-toothed tiger, and Smilodon was about the size of a Siberian tiger, I'm pretty sure. Let me get actual fact check to that. Yeah, they were approximately 430 to 600 pounds. So, and they would stand about 47 inches in height. So that was like 3 feet at the over 3 feet at the shoulder. So,
but that's like what a tiger is now.
Yeah, they're really not that big. You know what I mean? They're like 5 feet, 5.5 feet.
But they have the cool teeth.
The teeth look sick.
The teeth are awesome.
Oh, they about PFT size laying down.
Okay, so
that's really funny, Aaron.
They're the same size.
It's true. They're 5'5". Why are you getting mad at me? Because I'm speaking facts. What are you mad at me for?
Donnie's walking in the studio right now to join us. But for more information about saber-toothed tigers and other prehistoric megafauna, consult Audio Crack. On phones everywhere. Starting probably Friday.
It's coming out Friday.
Okay, it's coming out Friday. Love it. We'll be tuning
Unless
in.
I get shot in the next
Whoa.
24 hours.
Wow. Just a
Why?
wow.
That's not how this
that
goes.
was.
Are you going to get shot?
Why are you going to get shot?
I mean, this campaign has gotten pretty crazy. But
why would they shoot you, bro?
dude, I can't wait to. This might be, we're on a serious court case ruling right now, and I'll have more information Friday on Audio Crack.
Billy knows too much, and they're out to get him. His brain's too dangerous. We got Donnie joining us in studio right now. Okay, before we get to OJ stuff, we got Donnie in the studio.
Before we get to that,
yep.
Big T, I think you'd be proud of me, dog.
I'm always proud of you, King.
Thanks, man. God damn. I may be a little fuzzy inside, man, but you'll be even more proud of me.
All right.
Pete, bro. Pete.
That's sick.
So I got a new putter cover because I tried another putter out. It wasn't really working for me. I stuck with my blade one, but I was like, I'm tired of having the same putter cover. So, so I really leaned into the fact that I went to the University of Tennessee, man.
I love that.
It happened.
I told y'all I'd get this done.
You actually did, huh?
Yep.
Shout out to you.
I have a question.
Shoot.
As a non-golf aficionado to the level that you are, what is the point of head covers?
To take care of your clubs. So like when they're in either storage or they're in transit or they're on the course, they're
just not clanking around.
Yeah, they're clanking out, especially like drivers and putters. Any kind of dent and stuff can really fuck with the aerodynamics of it. And that's why you don't really need them for irons. Irons are kind of getting beat up, but they will rub against the putters and your drivers and your woods and your hybrids, stuff like that.
That's what I figured.
I actually didn't know that. I just always thought it's because they look nice.
I'm sure that plays a fact too. Actually, I know. I have the greatest driver cover of all time, bro. Fire.
Is that the Black Panther one?
Yeah, it's the helmet of Black Panther. So cool. The compliments I get every time I go on the golf course. And then the homie, look, maybe I'm wrong about this. My homie, I posted in a group chat and he was like, oh shit, where'd you get that? And I thought he was just like, that's cool, where'd you get it? I was like, oh, I got it on Etsy. It's real dope. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of cheap. It is what it is. He's like, oh, that's dope. 2 weeks later, my man gets the exact same one. I'm like, yay, yo. Is that a little kiddish of me? That I'm like, why would you do that? Or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm happy he's happy, but that's just wild to me.
Yeah, that's like OJ's buddy Al Collins, AC. OJ had the white Ford Bronco, and then AC was like, where'd you get that, man? And OJ was like, here's where I got it. And AC got one too. So the one that they were in the chase with, that actually wasn't the same white Ford Bronco that the blood was on. That was AC's Ford Bronco. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Is that weird to get the same car that your buddy has? I think it's
wild,
weird.
bro. That's wild. It's weird to get the same driver head as well. Because like if we ever play together, now we just looking like we wore the same shirt to the ball. You know what I mean? Like,
mm-hmm. A lot of people at
Unless
the country
they got
club
a deal
be
on it
asking
at the
questions.
dealership.
Yeah. One person at the company has the same shirt as me, and like we've had to work something out where like he can wear it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I can wear it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
What shirt is it?
It's not a great shirt. I got it at Primark. I don't know if you've ever heard of that chain. Cheap, really good clothes. But
from England?
Yeah, it's from the UK. They have one here in Chicago, but I can't be wearing the same shirt as like a 24-year-old kid here.
One day I'm going to show up for work in the fall, just decked in bright orange Tennessee gear. And then Big T's just going to look at me and I'm going to be like, what? I didn't know you were going to wear that today.
No, it's good.
It'll be a good bit.
Yeah, it's good.
It'll be a really good bit.
I was like, Donnie, I seen you last time I was in Chicago. I seen you. You had some of the most fire shoes I've ever seen. I was like, oh, where'd you get those? You told me where you got them. I'm not going to get them. But like, it's cool. Yeah, it's dope. You got them where you got them, and those are amazing shoes. I don't have no.
Fayus. Yeah, it's
those are fire shoes, bro.
It's like a French brand, but they're huge in China. So like all of the hipsters in China wear them.
So
if you get the same shoes, they're there right there if you want to look at them.
Fire shoes.
If you get those shoes, then every time you'd wear them, if you got a compliment, you'd almost feel obligated to be like, Yeah, my buddy Donnie up in Chicago told me about these. You'd have to like give him a little hat tip every time you got the compliment.
Hey, does it bother you every time I call you Wonton Don?
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
I think
don't
it
even
actually
know
makes.
what, like,
I think if you call me Wonton, or if people in the office call me Wonton, it helps, because now people just say Donnie, and I don't know if they're referring to Chef Donnie or me. So when someone says Wonton, it simplifies it.
Good for the brand too.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's how I was introduced to you, so I thought that's what everybody called you. And then I was reading my Twitter feed one day, and someone was like, "It's so cringy when you call him Wonton Don." I thought that was his name. Like, what the fuck? Where am I fucking up? But all right.
But yeah, we brought Donnie on to talk about the latest installment in the Kendrick Lamar, Drake, J. Cole. That
J.
whole
Cole's
beef.
out.
Yeah. J. Cole's out, but he was in it for a second.
Yeah.
But I listened to the Kendrick Lamar track yesterday. Holy shit. I've listened to it like 9 times. It is fucking awesome. And it's brutal. He goes after him. I feel like he holds back at times. But like the ability to make a 6-minute long song that changes styles like 6 or 7 different times. Yeah, with the intro and then the outro, and he does like the Toronto accent.
Yeah,
back
that
at
was
him.
funny.
The whole thing, it's really good. You have to listen to it multiple times to be able to digest each individual line of it and then try to figure out what he's talking about. But I'm all in on it now. And Arian was saying a couple of weeks ago, like, wait, Kendrick's going to have something. It's going to be really good. He's going to take
Matter of
his
fact,
time.
I called. I said I was surprised maybe within the next 2 weeks if he doesn't drop. And by golly, if it didn't happen.
Yeah. So that was as an outsider, I feel like I'm not involved in that drama as much as you guys are. But just as an outsider, I listen to that and I'm just like, Drake's dead. R.I.P. Drake.
Well, see, this is the thing though, bro. This is the thing. Like, so I think this is an unprecedented beef in hip hop where most beefs, because of like street influence, tend to fizzle out after the first 2 tracks. I don't think either one of these cats are going to take it there. I just don't. And so what I think is going to happen is we're going to get like 3 rounds of this shit. This is what that's my inkling. I don't have any inside information. I'm just going off of strictly feel. So I think this is going to be one of the better rap beefs of all time because Drake is going to respond back. And Kendrick is going to respond back to that. So where this dies, because the difference in this too is like, well, you'll see a lot of Drake fans, right? And I should preface this as I always do. I am a Kendrick Lamar fan. I am a Drake fan. I do favor Kendrick Lamar artistically, but I do listen to Drake. But I favor Kendrick. I think he's the better artist. But when I hear some of the rhetoric, a lot of the rhetoric with the Drake fans, I just don't understand the critiques. The critiques to me kind of fall flat. They're never really about the bars. It's always about, I can't really, his voice is corny, or it's never about the bars, right? And to me, that's what this shit is about. It's about bars. And it was never about the shot clock that people be putting on. Like the shot clock to me was always the wackest shit in the world, where it's like, oh, he's taking too long to respond. Like, what are we talking about? Let's not rush art, man. I know we live in this microwave, give me now society, but it delivered. Kendrick's track absolutely delivered. It got the internet talking. And when Drake responds, it's going to deliver as well because Drake is a fucking monster. Like, and so when you say Drake is dead, I think naturally you feel that way because Kendrick is a monster as well. But Drake is a dog, man. Like he is going to respond and it's going to be dope.
I think he's going to get a lot more personal.
Yeah. And I'm excited. I'm excited about that, but I'm skeptical about that because he doesn't have as much ammunition as Kendrick does because Drake's kind of had his dirty laundry out there. He's more, so like Kendrick is very secluded as an artist. He doesn't let a lot about his personal life out unless he divulges it, right? So he kind of gets to craft the narrative of what you should feel about him. Whereas Drake, a lot of his dirty laundry is aired out because he's in the blogosphere. Kendrick ain't really in the blogosphere and the gossips and the TMZs and all that stuff. Like Drake is a part of that in part because of his fan base, right? And this is to me gets into the deeper part. And me and Mac are gonna do a deep dive on this entire rap beef where I'm gonna have receipts, I'm gonna have timestamps, I'm gonna have like where the references of all the tracks are gonna come to. That's gonna be my solo part. It's gonna be fire. But this is just the surface level conversation of it. But to me, this is the core of this conversation. I always say, like, if you like Drake, Drake is ahead. If you like Kendrick, Kendrick is ahead, right? So like I try to take all that noise out of it and all that I try to just like separate myself from that conversation. And I try to just judge it like artistically and with the bars. Because what you see a lot from like the difference between nowadays, I think, and back then is like Drake is one of the number one artists in the world, right? He's one of the biggest artists in the world. And the reason why he unanimously lost against Pusha T was because Pusha T revealed something about his personal life that totally changed the course of his life, right? Like Drake was doing a press run for Adidas with his son. Pusha T got wind of that, figured out the whole story, and that whole press run went to shit because Pusha T revealed it in front of the world. So he kind of beat him to the punch. And so when rap fans are now, that to me has kind of spoiled rap beef in a sense. And don't get me wrong, it's a brilliant chess move on Pusha T, and I absolutely think he won the battle. But it kind of spoiled rap beef in the going future, because now when I hear people's critique of Kendrick, it's like, oh, we've heard this before. Well, like I don't listen to rap beefs for like dirty laundry. If that's a part of it, that's a part of it. But that's not, I don't go into thinking I can't wait to hear some shit I've never heard before about his personal life. That's like some TMZ shit, but that's where hip hop is at, and that's where Drake is. Drake is in this space where he is like, a hip hop mogul, and like he is the face of hip hop. He's the industry of hip hop. And so in order to penetrate that, you have to do something like what Pusha T did, and that's not going to happen again. And so I think Drake fans are judging this from like, oh, that's not gonna knock him down his pedestal. Nothing is. That didn't even knock him down, really. It just like prodded him not to respond, because what else are you gonna say after that? And so like it's an interesting like dialogue that's going on between like fandoms, and which is why I try to be as impartial as I possibly can, because you can get lost in the discussions. Don't like when people's hit me, like my Twitter message blew up like I did the track or some shit. It was crazy. I was getting hundreds of messages like, what do you think? I don't know. I'm still digesting it. And I still am. And I'm still sitting with it. I'm still digesting it, because that's how I digest art. I'm not really in it for the like who's fucking who, and you know what I'm saying, whose wife is cheating on her. Fuck all that. Give me the bars. Give me the artistry of writing. If it comes with it, that's cool, but it's not what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I've been hearing the most, is that like Drake is now going to like go into about like who Kendrick has cheated on his wife with and things like that. And like he kind of hinted at that in his first track, Push-Ups, when he's like, this isn't all I know. Like, don't make me go there. And then Kendrick says the same thing in this one. He's like, this is just a warning shot. But like he has one line. He's like, I know stuff about your crew that would make Gunna Wanna look like a saint. Yeah. And Gunna, I guess, has some snitch allegations or something like that. So
they're not allegations, there's paperwork. So
okay,
Gunna,
there's paperwork.
Yeah. Gunna told on YSL, which is Young Thug. Young Thug is still on trial right now, facing some hefty charges. We talking like some RICO charges. And so Gunna's out because he gave some names and provided some information, and it's on paperwork. And so Kendrick referenced that, saying, I know some people. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what he knows. You know what I'm saying? It's all speculation. Like, I don't know what Drake knows, speculation. But like, again, to me, it's like, that's all like the side conversations. And why I was arguing with my homeboy yesterday about this shit. He was like, it wasn't enough. And I'm like, I mean, I hear you saying, I hear Drake's fans saying it's like not enough. And it was a 20v1 and like all that. I was like, it's just a narrative. I spoke about this earlier, but it's like a narrative that Drake ran with. But I think that it was a good move, like PR wise, because like you got people thinking that everybody's coming at you, Drake, but it's just not the case. You know what I'm saying? Like you had two dudes that sent diss tracks at you. It was Kendrick and then Ross, but Ross only sent shots because you sent shots on wax, and you sent shots on wax to Ross because he unfollowed you on Instagram. That's you. That's on you, bro. And then like you put John Morant in it. Has nothing to do with Kendrick, bro. Metro Boomin don't rap. So like you naming all these people that hadn't take shots at you, you just was in your feelings about shit they did to you. And so you made this 20v1 mirage, right? when it really wasn't the case. Maybe there was some subliminals here and there, but I mean, you're the number one artist in the game. How many subliminals are going to be about you in your career all the time?
Yeah.
All the time. Jay-Z warns you about this. Here's how they're going to come at you, trying to distract you with all these silly rap feuds. Jay-Z said this to you in 2010. So to pretend like these are the first shots anybody's ever took at you is not the case. But you decided to bring all these people in on the track to create the narrative that everybody's jumping me. But that's not the case. Everybody here to see Kendrick and Drake, bro. J. Cole even knew that. You know what? This really ain't about me. I don't even feel this way about Kendrick. I like his discography. Let me just ease back. And the more and more that saga ages of J. Cole, the more and more I like and respect the decision. I still don't I don't think I would do it in that decision because he named me. I would tap that water too. You know what I'm saying? If I was J. Cole. But J. Cole decided, yeah, it's not really on that's what's up. And the more and more you see, because Kendrick didn't really have nothing to say about J. Cole other than, I think he says there's 3 goats and they hugging and kissing on stage. He's still saying like he's just hungry. And to me, that's just more rap feuds. I don't really have anything personally against J. Cole. Like maybe they got something, but I don't really see it.
I thought it was kind of lame that Kanye tried to insert himself in the beef.
I wouldn't even. Yeah, that's another one where Kanye was going at Drake, but it's like Kanye's always been going at Drake, and then he makes up with him and their friends, and he go back. I feel like this Kanye to me is like any kind of way he could be relevant, he gonna do that shit. And if you look at the course of his career, that's what it is. Like he just cares about relevancy, and so there's parts of his career where I loved that fact, because I felt like he took his platform and used it to speak about some good shit. But then also times it was just a draw for some attention. And I think that's Kanye lives in that realm. Like as a 40-year-old man, you shouldn't be stoking, no, he's almost 50 now. You shouldn't be stoking the fires of a beef that really don't got nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with you. So like you shouldn't even be involved in this shit. So I wouldn't even pay attention to that shit. But again, Drake has been going at Kanye for years. So it's not like this poor me, man. Everybody's ganging up. You've been taking shots at him too, bro. So like you a man, stand on your words. And if you want to address it, address it. If you don't, squash that shit. You know what I mean?
Kanye though, like in the interview he did after he dropped that like that remix, he was like, we've all been conspiring like for the downfall of Drake. Or he said something like, we all like can't wait for the like I forget the exact quote, but that's what made me feel like it was a 20v1, that he's like saying that. He's like me and all my boys in the industry have just been like conspiring against Drake for years, and we can't wait to see his downfall.
I mean, we got to figure out a way that we can bet on this, on rap beefs, on like sports books, like Kendrick dropping a line in this song about Drake's secret son was like minus 1,000, right? You should be allowed to bet on it.
That would be fire. That would be lit. That would be lit. But see, to your point, like that's Kanye being Kanye. He says the most wildest shit. And let's say it's true. Let's say him and his rap friends, which I don't know who that would be, right? Let's say him and his rap friends have been conspiring against Drake all the time. It just doesn't surprise me. Drake is the number one artist in the world, right? He rubs people the wrong way. People feel like he's a culture vulture. All the shit that Kendrick said in his song is what people feel. Like, I mean, I feel it in my circles, right? You know what I'm saying? Like where you feel like here's a Canadian dude that when he first came in the game, he does interviews saying, I didn't feel real racism until I came to America and they reminded me I wasn't American or I wasn't black enough, right? But yet you had the goal to do a blackface character trying to represent Jim Crow in the South. That's why people feel like that about it. And like I've always kind of felt the way about Drake too. Like I said, I'm a fan of Drake. I like his music, but personally, I think he does some things to me that are very insecure. I think he wants to be seen as a black artist and as a black man, and I think that's what the deeper part of, and I want to go to in my pod is like a deeper part of this, and what you're revealing when you're hearing Rick Ross call him white boy, right? You're hearing Kendrick on this thing say, how many black features till you feel like you're black enough? So there is these colorisms, was what we call them, that are kind of emerging amongst the black community, right? Where I've dealt with growing up, right? Where you don't necessarily always feel black enough with black folks because of the historical significance of darker skin in our country, right? These are all out And this is also, it keeps getting deeper. It's also why this is interesting playing out in front of the public eye, because Drake's major fan base is not like a historical hip hop fan base. It's a pop fan base. So when Kendrick's saying, Pusha T saying, you don't feel like you're black enough, a pop fan that doesn't understand the historical attachments to that with hip hop and with appropriation throughout the music industry's history, like all of that comes into play. And like when it comes to like a pop artist, it does feel a little bit like, damn, why y'all going in on them like that? But like it makes sense to people who are in it. And it's just really hard to explain unless you like unpack all of the social baggage, which like I said, I'm not gonna do here. I'm gonna do in the extra pod, but it's the reason why like some of these references and some of these like social and cultural jabs are coming at Drake. It's because a lot of people feel like that.
So there was one line in it that stood out to me a little bit because it broke up the rest of the track, which was when he kind of gave Drake like a hat tip at one point in the song when he talked about Back to Back, and he was like, I like that record for the record. That to me, so as an outsider, this is how I took that little line in there. He put that in just to kind of like reinforce, we're keeping this in the rap beef. I'm not escalating it to a point where like feelings and violence should take place. Is that right?
Yeah. So, but Kendrick said that shit from the jump. The reason why this beef started, which I'll get into in the solo pod, is because of a control verse on Big Sean's album that never was because of a sample clearance, but it took the internet by storm where Kendrick named every rapper: Pusha T, Meek Mill, A$AP Rocky, Drake. He's like, I'm usually homeboys with the same niggas I'm rhyming with, but this is hip hop and they should know what time it is. It's a, and he even says it in his new disc. He said, this is just a friendly fade. We ain't got to get comfortable. Fade is like when you one-on-one somebody, you call it a fade. And so he's like, this is a friendly fade. We ain't got to go there. Like, it was always that for Kendrick. And I think the reason why Drake took it the wrong way, again, I think it's a cultural thing. Every rapper he named in that control verse had no issues with it other than I'm going to get back at you with some rap shit. Drake took it personal and literally said on an interview with Angie Martinez, was like, he's like, if it's real, then let it be real. And he's like, those are harsh words. Where it's like, every other rapper was like, oh, I respect it. But Drake took that shit personal. And like, again, it was always about rap with Kendrick. But Drake is kind of notoriously like in his feelings about shit. And he's hella on the internet. And so like he hears everything, and this is why people always call him sensitive, is because he's always responding to people about what they say about it. He's like very aware of his public image, and he tries to craft and change that narrative. But to your point, and you can earmark this, it is a guess, but I have a prediction that in the next couple days, Kendrick going to release another one. And this is why. The line that you said, where he said, you sent the cease and a diss for Like That. Well, you don't like that record? He said some back to back.
Yeah.
He said back to back, I like that record. And he said, I'm gonna get back to that for the record. Kendrick's very meticulous about his words, dog. So back to back was a reference to Drake's diss track on against Meek Mill, where he originally released Charged Up. 4 or 5 days later, he came back with another record called Back to Back, which ended the beef. It was over. Like, it was one of the greatest hip hop diss records of all time. It's in the top 5 for sure. It was a great play, great move strategically. The cover art, everything was beautifully done. And it was in reference to like giving back to back. And one of the lines there was, I waited 4 days. I'm like, where y'all at? So he said, I like that. And in Kendrick's new diss, he said, I like that record. I'm gonna get back to that for the record. And so I don't know. It is conjecture, but I feel like he gonna drop something else in the next 3 to 4 days. I could be wrong, but like that's what it feels like to me.
But so at the end though, he says like, if you talk about me and my family, Crody, someone in your family's gonna bleed, Crody, something like that. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think he's trying to give Drake a full pass with that line.
I don't think it's good. I think that's just rap talk, man, honestly. And the Crody shit is funny too, which I'm addressing. Well, I'll just say it here too. He's poking at Drake again. So Drake was doing a live stream And so that weird accent at the end, he's making fun of Canadian accent. Right?
Yeah, the
So
Toronto one. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's making fun of like a Toronto accent. So Crody is the name of Drake's cat. Drake has a cat named Crody.
And that's also Toronto slang. That
could be, yeah, I don't know that part,
Kendrick thinks so. I guess
sense.
Brody is popular slang in Los Angeles, and then
Brody's here. Yeah.
Gangsters in Toronto, because there's a lot of Crips in Toronto. I guess I didn't know that they changed it to Crody, so that's what a lot of people.
It would still be an LA thing. All Crips.
Yeah.
Like so, growing up in San Diego, like I grew up around a lot of Bloods, so like a lot of Bloods would be like, oh, blood, that is bomity blood. Like so instead of comedy. I say bomb, but you bull blood. You about to go to let's get a bracken, like all that shit. Like I heard that shit all growing up, and so, but the Crips do it on their side too, right? So a whole bunch of any B word they change to C.
I like to think that Drake is just getting ready for a diss track to come out about his cat. Like Kendrick should just make an entire one from the perspective of Drake's cat and how bad life would suck for Crody.
Crody's probably got a pretty sick life though.
I was about to say his life's probably crap.
But I have heard Crody is like very popular in Toronto. I don't know if they're the ones who came up with it or not, but
I would doubt that. But either way,
as a total outsider to this, I've listened to.
You ain't on the forefront of this, Big T.
I've listened to the songs, and here's you said something at the very beginning that I just want to address. I cannot fucking stand Kendrick Lamar's voice. Like I can't even, like, lyrically listening to that song, I was like, oh wow, that's like really incredible, and I just hate his voice so much that I can't like enjoy it.
I think a lot of people feel like you. Well, a lot of Drake fans, and I think people that don't like Kendrick feel what you're saying.
It's not even that I don't like him. I can't stand his voice.
No, I totally acknowledge that. There are sometimes he does voices to me where I'm like, why just say it regular and it'll be hard.
Yeah.
I get that critique. It's just not something I take into account when I listen to a Kendrick Lamar song. Like I think this is how I look at it. If you are a Drake fan and you go into listening to a Kendrick Lamar record, album, or anything with the same mindset of you listening to a Drake song or Drake record, you're gonna come out disappointed. If you are a Kendrick Lamar fan going into a Drake project, a Drake song, trying to listen to it in the way that Kendrick Lamar displays his art, you're going to be disappointed. They are two entirely different artists with two entirely different goals. And I think that's the biggest point in this battle, and why it's so intriguing to me is because their fan bases are entirely different and their goals as artists are entirely different. Every feature that Kendrick has on his album is very strategically placed because his albums always paint pictures. They always tell stories. There's a narrative with an entire project that he is cultivating. And so it's very selective and it's very on point and it's very relevant to the story that he's painting in every single album that he releases. A Drake album is very strategically placed for charting, to see, like, for Afro beats is the newest wave of like the music industry. He brings a lot of artists that don't have a lot of notoriety but are big in their lane and kind of puts that genre to the forefront, right? So he kind of like keeps waves going in music and starts different waves. Some would say stealing, but like those two, they're just two different artists with two different goals. And so like when I listen to Drake fans critique Kendrick and I listen to, and I'm not some like, enlightened centrist. I just understand the game is being played. I always start it with I favor Kendrick for sure. That's my type of vibe. But I also get like if you're listening to a Kendrick song and you don't really understand his background and you don't really understand like Kendrick said it like Drake said, he had infidelity issues, right? And he was cheating on his wife or whatever the case may be. If you listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, that's what that album is about. It's conquering his vices. It's conquering his demons. So it's like you pointing out something that, yeah, nigga, I exposed that. It doesn't hit, but for Drake fans, it's like, oh, Mr. Hypocritical. Like, not really, because this is something that he addressed as a man, and that entire album is about, it's about being a man and going through your vices and going through things. He talks about his auntie transitioning from a woman to a man. He talks about him having daddy issues and not being not being close with his father, or having issues with his father, and that's why he acted out, and that's why we act out as young men, especially young black men. And so I get Drake's fans' critiques, but I just feel like they haven't dug deep enough into his catalog. And so again, Kendrick fans' critiques on Drake is it's not deep enough, but it's like, if you know Drake, it's not gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to listen to it like with some kind of relative mindset, and just think about it like this: two amazing artists of our generations are sparring, right? And try to dissect it. Yeah, it's a great time to be hip. So get out of the camps. Yeah, I'm a Kendrick fan. I probably feel like Kendrick's winning. That's me. That's my bias. But that doesn't mean I have push-ups on my playlist while I'm jamming on the driving range. Listen, I can still enjoy the music. You don't have to be like, oh, he's ass. This. You don't got to do that. Just enjoy the music and enjoy these two great juggernauts going at it, man. You don't got to get into camps. You don't got to put your jersey on, dog. These niggas don't know you. They don't care.
I had one more question about one of the lyrics because I want to understand what it means, because I'm pretty sure he's saying something, but I don't understand it. At one point he said, "It's 3 goats left. I've seen 2 of them kissing and hugging on stage. I love them to death. And in 8 bars, I'll explain that phrase." So then I'm like, okay, he's telling me what he's about to do in 8 bars. I listen 8 bars later, and he says, "The crown is heavy. I pray they're my real friends. If not, I'm Y&W Melly."
Yeah.
What does that he's saying something, and he told me he was going to say it, and I listened to it, and I was like, that means something, but I don't know what it means, and I want to know what it means.
I had to look that up.
Okay.
That shit's fire, dog. All right. So what he's saying is like, I hope y'all ain't my real friends while we going after this. Because if you are, I'm Y&W Melly. Who was Y&W Melly? Y&W Melly was an artist who was on trial for murdering one of his friends.
Okay.
So he's saying, I hope y'all ain't my real friends. Because if you are, I'm going to murder you.
Okay.
That shit is clever as fuck. And this is why, like, I don't know, man. This is why Kendrick is like a little different animal to me, bro. Like, little shit like that, fire. And like, that's what I'm going to go through in this pod. There's so many little things like that throughout the entire thing that just like are just fun to me. It's fun to dissect and put the puzzle together of the picture that he painted.
Yeah.
I love this shit. I love rap, dog. I love this shit.
When he says like, I hate the way that you walk, I hate the way that you talk, that's also a reference to a DMX clip.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys talked about that previously.
No, we haven't yet.
I just remember DMX saying that about Drake.
Yeah.
He's like, it felt real personal between DMX and Drake.
Also, to get a little deeper on that, it's one of the reasons why Drake and Kendrick started beefing. Because early on, when that came out, it was on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God and them. That was during To Pimp a Butterfly's press run, when he was on the press run. And they asked Kendrick about that, and he had said like, I was on the bus, and everybody was cracking up in the front. I came over there, what was everybody cracking up about? And it was that DMX clip, and he was like, yeah, I was rolling laughing. And so again, Drake is on the internet, dog. As much as these motherfuckers don't post and shit, he be on the internet. And he felt the kind of way about that shit. And so that was the beginning stages of the subtle disses. Like they've been dissing each other back and forth for years. Which is another reason why this 20v1 narrative I can't get behind.
Drake definitely has burner accounts then, right? Like he's on Twitter.
Oh, 1,000%.
He's posting memes,
he's on it all.
In the replies.
He's on it all. He's very, very meme savvy, very understands the meme culture, understands the internet culture. He's doing it right now. And this is what I'm saying. They playing 2 different games, which is why like it's just funny to me. I sit back and watch because it's like you'll see Drake in response to Kendrick's videos, he's posting like clips of
from 10 Things I Hate About You.
10 Things I Hate About You, where she's in love with a man. And she goes, I hate the way you do this to me. I hate the way you do this. I hate this. I hate this. But all the while she loves him, right? And like to Drake fans, right? That's like a chess move. Like, oh, that goes over here. No, it's just whack. Get in the booth. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is 2 different games. That's Drake's angle. Control the narrative. Play the internet game. Troll. Do that shit, right? Whereas Kendrick's angle and his fan base is like, make a great art. Get in the booth. Make it about the bars. They're playing 2 different games. And if you take your jerseys off, like I said, to a certain extent. We all have internal biases, right? Admit your biases, but see if you can watch. I learned this shit from, as it was actually J. Cole, but it was by proxy of a rapper that most music fans don't know of, but if somebody put him in his top 5 lyricists of all time, I wouldn't have an issue with you. His name is Royce the 5'9". And Royce the 5'9", who ran with Eminem for a long time, who has written for Dr. Dre on the Chronic, and just a brilliant pen. He said some of the realest shit ever, because I was the same way. I was like a hip hop purist when I was growing up. I was like the backpack kid and all that shiny shoot shit with Lil Wayne and all that shit is whack. I was like, I used to hate that shit, right? But he said some real shit that J. Cole told him. And he was like, because Royce was posting a lot of like new age rap, and I was like, this ain't on brand for him. And people asked him why, and he did a video and explained it. J. Cole told him, like, listen, I was like that too. He's like, until I sat down and made myself understand it. He said, if I thought somebody was whack, I sat down and listened to them until I got it. There's a reason why they're making the art they have, and there's a fan base behind it. There's a reason why. Sit down and listen until you get it. Take off your bias and your opinions until you get it. He's like, once I did that, it opened up an entire new world of music for him in a way, because if you think about it like gatekeeping, like this is my brand of hip hop, and anything outside of my little box of hip hop, like, it's whack and it's not it. But if you look at hip hop like a tree that grows and you don't know where the branches are going to go, it's still under that umbrella, it's still under that tree, and you can find a way to appreciate it without compromising what you internally like and internally feel. But to me, it's just a very humble way to look at music. And I encourage fans out there who are on the fences or enjoying the battle, or on both sides, like who are dug their heels in saying, fuck that Kendrick, fuck that Drake. Like, just take that hat off and try to enjoy the music. I promise you'll have a better experience with this whole thing. It's an amazing time to be a hip hop fan.
I'm going to try to do that with whatever Drake comes back with, because I thought that the track that he put out with Snoop Dogg, AI Tupac, I thought that was the worst thing ever.
No, that was dog shit.
I thought that was trash.
I love that.
You liked it?
Yeah, I did.
You can't use Tupac Shakur's dead voice to take shots. He's not involved in this beef.
I know it was a move, but he probably did that just because he knew like how much it would piss off Kendrick.
But it didn't, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he actually just one line when he talks about he's like, "Hey Drake, I heard you have a ring. I'll pay twice the price for that, so Tupac doesn't roll in his grave." I guess Drake paid $1 million for a ring that used to be owned by Tupac, and Kendrick's saying like, "I'll pay $2 million." So like, you're not wearing that, and Tupac's not rolling in his grave.
That's
hard.
like that. That's a hard. I didn't even know that one. That was hard.
Yeah.
But see, so like the reason why I didn't like it, and like to your point, 50, like you can still listen with an open mind and still not be like, I didn't really like it. You know what I'm saying? But just don't. People listen with the intent of like, okay, why is this going to be whack? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's a distinct difference. I'm not saying you have to like everything that anybody's ever made, but just listen with an open mind, like an honest and open mind. But the reason why I didn't like that was because, one, I think the 8 Mile Be Rabbit angle where you all right, let me say everything about me so that I try to take away ammunition from you. I think that's just a weak ploy. It's just basically to me to tell you kind of scared. I hate that. I think it worked for Be Rabbit in that movie for that script, but otherwise, I think it's just kind of whack. And so that's what Drake did. But he didn't even do it as him. He did it as Tupac.
Yeah.
What did he say? He said, in Tupac's voice, he said, tell him about the underage girls. Because Drake has I guess there's rumors about him that he likes underage girls, and he has like a pattern of underage girl stuff. So he wanted to get in front of the allegations, but he did it in a Tupac voice. And I thought that was just weak as hell. If you want to get in front of allegations, dog, jump on it with you. Don't bring Pac. It has nothing to do with that. And not only do I think it's whack, Tupac's estate sent a cease and desist letter to him for that shit. So it's just Pac is hip hop royalty. I understand, but this is, again, they're playing two different games. What's Drake's narrative and what's his game plan? To troll. He's the internet guy. You know what I'm saying? He's on the internet. Kendrick on some like, let's just bar it up.
I'm going to put a $10,000 bounty on Drake's burner account on Twitter. If you can identify what it is, if you can find it and you can prove it to me, I will pay you $10,000.
I like that.
This goes out to anybody across the internet. I'm putting a bounty on it. I want to know the handle.
I like that.
I want to see the evidence. I want to see the trails.
It's Graham too. I know you got a burner.
It'd be funny if it was if like his burner that he used was like the ML football or like one of those aggregator football news accounts
Yes.
that doesn't have a name, and he's just obsessed with like building up this football news account that he's just repurposing like Adam Schefter tweets for. Turn retweets and notifications on, and he's like, damn,
I also think
I didn't
though,
get as much traction on that.
Retweet
story.
if you feel like.
Yeah,
he probably just.
RT if you think Matt Stafford should be in the GOAT conversation.
I think he probably just has like someone in his crew, and he's like, you're the Twitter guy, and it's his job to just scroll Twitter and find something that he can use in the beef or see what people are saying about him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's probably some shit. Yeah.
His Twitter scroller. That'd be sick to just have like a Twitter scroller.
It'd be
in your
smart
crew.
to have.
It would.
If you have that much money.
I need 10 new memes on my desk by 5 p.m. every day. That's your assignment. Find me the best memes.
They have like morning meetings. Or like, all right, TikTok, what do you got for me? That's just
I assume that's what Big Cat does for all his coffee memes. Like he's not making those memes.
I don't know. I don't know how that operates. That might be memes that does.
Memes does that.
Yeah, I think it's memes.
And he probably is like, okay, he's probably like, I need 6 new coffee memes on my desk by Monday.
Yeah, we do have a memes guy. That's a good point, Billy. I have not harvested memes for memes. I should give him specific directions about one type of meme he should always be on the lookout for.
Yeah. The one thing I feel about this beef is that Drake is still hurt by the fact that Pusha T got the last laugh in the last beef. So like, I don't think Drake's just going to let Kendrick drop the last diss track in this.
Agreed. That's what I said earlier. It's like, that's also why I'm so fucking excited, because like, This could be like the first like 3-round bout where we get like 3 solid ass diss track. Throw out that AI bullshit, that was whack. But like 3 solid. So Push-Ups was fire, dog. I fucked with it. Euphoria, fire. I fuck with it. Like this could be like the precedent set forward for hip hop beef, where it's like, unless you ready to go toe to toe with 3-4 diss tracks and go back and forth, then just don't get into it. And to me, I mean, think about this. Is what I be saying, like. Kendrick made everybody rap. Everybody throwing diss tracks against everybody, bro. I love that shit. You bring a rap back, and you bring a rap to the forefront of a genre that is the #1 genre in the world, where the beefing has kind of been dormant, where this was what hip hop's for. Keep it on wax. Let's have some fun out here, man. Let's do this shit. I'm hype. More breakdown though, where every single line will come.
And like the rap beef is probably going to help both of them. Like, if Kendrick drops an album in the next couple months.
Oh yeah. If it's one day we know about war, is it makes money.
Yes.
War make money, dog. Because there's nothing more America loves than blood. We love blood, baby. We love that shit. Give it to me.
All right. Thank you, Donnie.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh man, thank you for having a knowledge about hip hop, because my crewmates here
I love this stuff.
A little deficient in that area. No disrespect to them, because I'm sure if y'all start talking country music,
you caught me 10 years too late.
We are. Gotcha. Do you guys think
2014?
Do you guys think
we could have been on it?
Is KFC gonna respond to Roan?
I don't think he will.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay. Can y'all bring me up to speed? Can y'all bring me up to speed on that shit?
It all started because of Ben Stiller.
Is that serious? He was taking some real ass shots about his show and shit.
As all beef starts, it is Donnie's right. It started with Ben Stiller. It's about the Knicks and the Sixers. Roan's a Philly fan, and the Knicks beat the Sixers the other night. Ben Stiller he posted some like standard thing on Twitter about how much he loves this team. And I forget which player he really liked, but he was saying like, yeah, this series is making me feel like I haven't felt in a long time. And then Roan just responded to Ben Stiller saying like, your movies suck. They're all unoriginal. Roan was speaking. He was speaking. I think Roan in a honest moment would agree that Ben Stiller's made some banger movies.
No, that's super emotional. Like,
he was emotional.
He's a GOAT. Like, what is he talking about?
Emotional.
He was emotional at the time. It was after Bad Loss. So he tweets this at Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller responds, "Oh, wow.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And
Ben Stiller responded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get that shit framed, bro. I would.
And then KFC did a breakdown on Roan and Ben Stiller's beef, right?
Yeah, and like in the breakdown, I think he called Roan a washed-up battle rapper.
Yeah.
So I think if he had just called Roan a podcaster or something, like Roan wouldn't have like felt the need to drop a diss track. But because he called him a washed-up battle rapper, then Roan was like,
Wait,
all right.
can KFC rap? Does he rap?
So he got in a rap battle with Portnoy like a while ago.
Oh
Now,
my God.
That was more of a fair fight because neither of them had rapped before. And that was very, very
That's kind of
entertaining.
weak on Roan then. That's kind of weak on Roan then.
That was when I had like stopped reading Barstool as much. And then once Dave and KFC got into a rap battle, I was all the way back in. All right. I'm heading out. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right,
All right, brother.
At Stella Blue Coffee, we believe good coffee is one of life's non-negotiables. Stop drinking those boring, tasteless, big coffee beans and turn to Stella Blue. Remember, your mornings are sacred. It's time to start treating them that way. Not only are Stella Blue Coffee's premium beans sourced from the most coffee-rich geographies on Earth, but they're also Big Cat tasted and approved, which is obviously more important. Stella Blue Coffee's delicious roasts are available in cold brew, K-Cups, ground, and whole bean formats to seamlessly fit into your morning coffee routine. And every bag sold helps save dogs. Head to StellaBlueCoffee.com today and use promo code MACRO, M-A-C-R-O, for 20% off any order of $25 or more. Take back your morning with Stella Blue Coffee.
So yeah, if I was KFC, I would not fuck with Roan. Don't fuck with Roan. There's a reason why he's one of the best in the world at what he does.
Before we do OJ,
Yeah.
did you have something?
Yeah, I have to listen to this voicemail. I just got a voicemail about Blake from the doctor. So
Let's put it on.
We'll-
put it on. I hope it's great news. I hope it's great news.
Sure,
No,
put it on.
HIPAA. Dogs get HIPAA too.
Dogs don't have
Yeah,
HIPAA.
that
They
is
don't have
kind of
right-
fucked, honestly.
Yeah, what if
Let's see. I give Blake's consent.
There you go. You're his owner.
Wait, hang on. Speaker.
Go over the findings with you, just kind of short and sweet. It looks like his shoulders are normal, which
Oh.
is great, but his elbows both have the form of elbow dysplasia that we talked about, where that medial compartment hasn't formed quite right. The right side actually looks like it has a little bit of a fissure in the cartilage, and the left side just looks like it's a little bit more affected. So I'm still waiting on talking to the surgeon to confirm that she agrees we should go in and surgically remove that cartilage, which I think she will. But just kind of waiting on that. But wanted to let you know that we did find that his elbows are affected, so it's likely the cause of his lameness. But everything went super well, and you're welcome
He's
to pick
lame.
him up. I know Nick mentioned you had to come around.
I got a lame dog.
I understand what she's saying, but that's a funny
Yeah,
thing. It's like,
dude.
we found
Blake
the
is-
cause of his lameness.
Dude, the surgeon just dropped a disc track on Blake right there. Yeah, we've medically diagnosed your dog as being a nerd.
Fucking dork.
dude, my dog's a pussy, but he's not a nerd.
He's not lame.
He's,
So now I'm gonna
you guys.
Now I'm gonna be googling elbow dysplasia. My dog's lame. I'm just reading about lameness in dogs.
Is he have to get? So he's gonna have to get surgery?
I have to make him cooler somehow.
Yeah.
I think the surgery is the only way to make him
Did you
hip.
neuter him yet?
I did not personally neuter him, but he was neutered when I got him. I've never seen his balls.
Dude,
Do you think maybe he should smoke cigarettes or something?
Yeah.
No,
I
dude,
do.
he actually
Good
needs
call.
TRT.
Good call, Mad Dog. I'm gonna get him on a pack of Camels a day.
I think that'd help.
If Blake ever gets in a dog rap battle, they're going to say he's stepping with lameness because he's got that dysplasia. It's crazy.
That's a good line. I feel like Big T could write rap. I don't know if you'd be able to execute it, but I think you got that dog in you.
I don't know.
Yeah, you got like if I think if you culture yourself on like cadence, delivery, different kind of flows, you could write, bro.
I could probably write rap.
Mhm.
I don't know
write
that
a
I
diss
could
track?
perform it.
You know what I'm saying? It's about cadence and rhythm and stuff like that. I feel like if you just practiced, you probably could.
I had something else I wanted to talk to Arian about.
Can I give you an assignment before you do?
Sure.
I'd like you to write a diss track about Joe Biden.
But then I'd have to perform it, and I don't want to perform it. I'll write it if Arian will do it.
Okay.
Shit, I might write one too. Fuck that dude.
All right.
Although he is doing a couple good things that I like, but go ahead.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, today is a day that you have had circled on your calendar for a while.
Yes.
because of the release of Tiger's brand.
Yes.
That shit. Don't tell me you like that shit.
Yes.
Oh, it's horrible.
Okay, well, brother, there's these things that the good Lord gave us all, and they're called opinions. And what's beautiful
yes.
about these opinions
Agreed.
that the good Lord
and
gave
glad
us
that you acknowledged where they came from.
He gave you one, and it just so happened to be separate from the one that he gave me.
So you
and
like
amongst this diversity of opinion, my brother, we get to share a bunch of them.
I'm surprised that you these $120 polos with no logo on them.
Give them to me.
That are like, I think the consensus online is that this stuff sucks.
Well, if there's anything that I care more about, is the consensus online, my brother. So I'm glad you.
I'm just saying,
it seems on my table.
It seems like more people are disappointed than excited.
Of course they are. Listen, it's overpriced, right? It's not very stylistically appealing, but let me tell you what it is. It's a fucking 15 major championship winners apparel line that is the greatest golf of all time. And guess what? I spent $2,500. Bunch of fucking shit.
That probably didn't even get you all that much.
It didn't, but you saw I was so mad. I was so mad because I've had that shit in my phone as a reminder for months. It did not go off, and I just happened to be tired from playing golf yesterday, and I fell asleep. The release was at 11 p.m. Central. I fell asleep like at 10:30. I woke up at 12:30. No, 1. I woke up at 1, and most of the shit that I wanted was gone. But I did stack up. I got a bunch of hoodies that I'm not gonna be wear until next year because it's hot as fucking Houston right now. I got some shorts. I got some polos. I got some shirts. I wanted the ball marker, and I wanted a couple of the hats. And again, only hat that they had available that wasn't sold out was the bucket hat. Copped that shit.
So saying that because it's Tiger put it out, whatever, could it have been anything and you would have loved it? Like, is there anything that you would have been like, well, this is bad?
No. Think about it like this.
Okay, well, then that's fine.
But think about it like this, though. So let me see if we can bring you into the world of Arian real quick. Who's your favorite artist or musician? Or, could be the same. All time. Or just right now.
Zac Brown Band.
Boom. Zac Brown Band. Where it's like, you love them, right? Like, anything that they put out, you like, man, I'm fucking with it. Like,
I don't love like every Zac Brown song.
Okay, cool. But you like them. You love them. Is it a guy or is it a band?
It's the Zac Brown Band. The front man is Zac Brown.
Okay, that's cool. So they or them or him, whatever their pronouns are, he puts out a shirt.
No, unconfirmed.
He puts out a merch. He put out some merch. You like, it's all right, but I fuck with Buddy so much that I want to support, and I want to have something that says I fuck with Zac Brown. That's all this is.
I understand that.
It's high end, very expensive merch. This is my hope. My hope is because the look of the quality, it does look amazing on my screen. I don't know that it's going to be that when I get it. I did get express day shipping, extra $35. It should be here tomorrow, right? I will tell you and I will inform you. I will be honest. I would hope you think I could be honest about the quality, right? Because I don't have no stake in Tiger's, kingdom. I don't care. I'm gonna buy it. It is what it is. I love Tiger Woods, though. I love this man's golf game. I think he changed and revolutionized the sport. Oh no, I think he changed and revolutionized his sport more than any player has ever done for any sport of all time. I love Tiger Woods. Is what it is.
That could be true.
When he drops some merch, I'm copping. And what I like about this is it's not Nike. You know what I mean? Like I used to buy some Tiger Woods Nike stuff, but I never really used to like it like that. This is his own shit. This is his own. He's going off and doing his own thing. I think it may be sponsored by like TaylorMade or something like that, but it's his own offset, which I don't know, man. I just love me some Tiger, bro. Like when the Masters came, I bet $200 that he would win the Masters. Did I think he was going to win the Masters? Fuck no. But there's this little compartment of one of my atriums that just holds a special spot for Tiger Woods, and I will always hold on to hope.
But I even mostly agree with you. Like, I don't like the logo, But if they had just slapped the logo on most of the polos, I'd been like, well, I would like a polo that, has the tiger logo on it. They don't even have the logo.
The hoodie, there's some hoodies and some shirts.
Yeah, a couple of them have it on there, but most of the stuff doesn't.
But you also gotta say this is the first collection, right? I'm sure as because the sales, fucking hour in, shit is selling out. Sales are gonna go through the roof, and so I think as time progresses, they're gonna start listening to the fan base about what they actually want to see from the brand, and I think that there will be a shirt that you will enjoy sooner on. You know what? I'm gonna grab it for you. Don't even worry about it, bro. When's your birthday?
Saturday.
Well, okay, too late.
This Saturday?
Next year.
Also, Madeline's is
next
today. If you're listening,
Tiger Woods.
Tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Mad
for
Dog.
us.
Happy birthday, Mad Dog.
Clap it up, birthday week.
Give it up, birthday week.
Thank you.
Big T kept his birthday secret for the longest time. He didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah.
Wait, so is it both
but
your
y'all-
birthdays?
What?
This week.
Okay, happy birthday week, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But we went. Was it last year we went to the Braves
No,
Mets
it was
game?
that was 2 years ago. It was my first birthday on the pod because we went on my birthday.
That was 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2022.
Yeah, it was because
Acuna almost hit that dinger.
Yeah, we all bet Ronald home run, and he had a hit one that had a expected batting average of 1,000 that was caught at the wall in dead center. But yeah, because we knew that was Madeline's and my birthday.
Yeah.
So y'all have known for 2 years.
I forgot.
I know Big T's birthday because it's right there.
You guys have anything planned?
I'm going to a fun restaurant, and I'm going to Ohio this weekend. So
Wait, Madeline, it's your birthday too?
It's my birthday as this comes out. So
Tomorrow.
Wait, I thought Mackenzie said that.
No, Mackenzie just shouted me out.
It's Mad Dog's birthday.
Got you.
As you're listening.
May 2nd.
Yes.
Everybody wish Mad Dog a happy birthday.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
And she's going to Ohio to celebrate.
And I'm going to Ohio to celebrate.
As
Shout
she
out
should.
Columbus.
Are you going to one of those like rest stops?
I will make my way to a rest stop. I'm going to celebrate another friend of mine for her graduation.
Selfish friend.
No, we're going to do my birthday Friday night, and then she's going to become a doctor on Saturday. I know.
Graduating on your birthday is pretty fucking selfish, not gonna lie.
I know. She should change it. Well, my birthday's she's graduating Saturday, but I am choosing to celebrate my birthday alongside her becoming a doctor. So I said, that's fair.
And Big T, what are you doing?
Not a thing.
Coming to the Kentucky Derby party?
Probably not. I appreciate the invite. Invite me to something that's not like something I don't like.
You don't like parties?
Not for the Kentucky Derby.
I mean, we're just gonna be partying.
Yeah, but then it's a whole thing. Invite
Wait,
me when.
Are you going to the Kentucky Derby? Not to derail that conversation, but are you?
No,
going
I'm
to
just having people over.
Oh,
Are you going to
when
dress
is the
up?
Kentucky
BFT?
Derby?
Saturday.
It's on Saturday. I am dressing up. I bought my clothes for the party.
Yeah,
on
it sounds
Monday.
like a nightmare.
You don't have to dress up. It's just gonna be drinking, eating, grilling.
Yeah, but like a lot of people and like a whole thing.
Yeah, I told this story in part of my take, but I sent a text to the group chat. Now, hand up my mistake. I believe it was in the middle of a Celtics game. It was like the fourth quarter of a Celtics game about a week and a half ago. And at the same time that I sent the group chat here on Macrodosing, I sent a part of my take too. And there was just silence after that. And then Hank responded a little bit later about something else. And I was like, wow. I'm just getting left unread by the PMT guys. Now I know that usually when I put those out, we always like invite each other to stuff, knowing that usually people aren't going to show up for things. But I expected to at least get one person be like, "Hey man, I can't make it."
I said I couldn't.
Mad Dog said she couldn't.
I said I'll be out of town.
She's gonna be out of town.
But I do love a Kentucky Derby party.
But the moral of the story is you talk to people in person, then they say that they're gonna come. So Big T, you are invited.
I appreciate that.
If you don't have anything on Saturday, come by.
And I would like to continue to be invited to things in the event that there is one that sounds good.
We got invited. We get invited to something else later in the year?
Did we?
You told us something. Never mind.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes.
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 Does
another party?
No clue.
Am I the only one? What are we talking about?
No, I don't know what they're talking about either.
Are we talking about Memorial Day weekend?
Yes.
Yes.
Still
we have another party.
At your house?
Yes. I believe so, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, if I'm in town, mark me down as a tentative for that.
All right, tentative. Now it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be people.
Yeah, but see, that's where you get me. I would love. Listen, I don't.
Ooh,
and
I thought it was
go,
just gonna be me though.
Well, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? I don't want to sound like I think I'm important enough to get a solo, because I could go the rest of my life without going to your house and I'd be perfectly fine. But I would. It's like when you get a whole thing, and it's like I see these people all the time. I don't want to, I don't need to go to PFT's house and.
There'll be strangers there too. People you don't know.
That's way worse. Okay. Way worse. So much worse.
All right.
PFT's house is awesome.
It is fun.
So if you're ever like super bored and you have nobody at your house, I'd love to come see your house and maybe hang out.
Okay.
When it's a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Big T not gonna be there.
Maybe some lazy Saturday or Sunday this summer. Baseball's on TV.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
We'll hang out on the rooftop, watch the game.
That sounds outstanding.
Maybe grill up some steaks.
Amazing.
Okay.
When is Memorial Day?
End of May.
So the 25th. No, 27th.
I believe it's actually the 27th. But yeah.
You want to come, Aaron?
I might pull up to that, bro.
It's gonna be a hell of a party.
I'll only come if Big T's coming.
I'll let you know if I'm in Chicago or not.
That would actually be very
okay.
funny.
If you're in Chicago, it'll be me and you, bro. We'll be hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
All right. If I'm here, we'll go.
All right. Bet.
It'd be very funny if Arian flew into town, came to the show or came to the party, and then Big T was like, man, kind of enjoying my air conditioning right now.
If I am in town and Arian comes to the thing, I'll go.
All right, so we're going to get into OJ in a second. It's brought to you by Steven Singer Jewelers. It's May. That means Mother's Day is here. The moms in our lives put up with a lot. I'm sure some of us were angels, others of us not so much. I love my mom. I'm getting her a rose from Steven Singer Jewelers, and she's going to love it. Shout out moms out there. Now's the time to do your shopping for Mother's Day. You don't want to wait until the very last second, and Steven Singer Jewelers is going to help. Toast to mom for all her hard work with Steven's brand new 24-karat rose. It's gold dipped in red wine. We have them here in the studio with us. They look amazing. Mom's going to love it, and it's going to last. That's the thing. When you send her roses, they wilt, they fade away. Not these. They last. Make Mother's Day special with a gift that she's going to love and appreciate every single day. A luxurious red wine 24-karat gold-dipped rose for just $69. Check out Steven Singer's entire collection of gold-dipped roses at IHateStevenSinger.com. Order now and get upgraded with one of Steven Singer's rose scents for free. Plus free shipping, free personalized gift message from you, and free lifetime guarantee. Free scent ends today, exclusively and only at IHateStevenSinger.com. All right, OJ, the trial of the century.
R.I.P. Juice.
Didn't do it.
Yeah, so Billy, we're gonna let you cook on this. And when we first got on the call, Arian had a preview of what he was about to do, because I think we've talked about OJ before, right? And we've talked about how he definitely did it. But Arian, I think Arian is thinking, his mind is open.
No, I still think he did that shit for sure. But
I don't think he did.
All I'm saying is, because it's just been such like the lore of the case has been so big for so long that you kind of just don't really care about the evidence. The jokes come, everything involved with it. But when you actually look at the evidence, it's not as cut and dry as I thought it was going to be. But what's very clear is that the prosecution wholly fucked up. And the LAPD was negligent and absolutely planted evidence. So those two factors combined, I can see why a rational jury member could look at the evidence presented and be like, there is doubt. On top of the fact that DNA evidence during that time was fairly new to bring into court. So all those factors combined, it was kind of a perfect storm for him to walk. Because again, it's not necessarily, not guilty does not mean innocent. And so I still think he was involved. Still think he more than likely did that shit. It's just not as cut and dry as I thought it was going to be looking back into the case.
It's definitely a big fuck. There are a lot of fuck ups on the side of the prosecution in this. It was not handled well. And the jurors in this case, man, they spent 265 days sequestered.
I was going to bring that up. That should not be legal.
I agree.
That's crazy.
Because it was,
Did
there
they
was
get
so much
compensation?
media.
Yeah, you get paid, but it's like nothing.
Don't you get paid by your employer, or am I make that up?
You just can't
You
get
just can't
fired.
get fired. I don't know if that's a good question. Are you getting, if you have a job and you go on a jury, are you getting like PTO or?
It might vary from state to state. I don't know how that works out.
I think you get your regular salary, because I almost got on Harvey Weinstein's.
Okay, so this is in Illinois, so I think it must be state by state, but it says employers do not have to compensate an employee for his or her time spent on jury duty. So I think it's just up to the employer.
Also in Illinois, you get $50 a day.
$50. 50 whole bucks a day.
They may as well just tell you go fuck yourself. I'd rather just not get paid.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not good. If you work hourly, I wonder if there's any job in America that would pay you your hourly rate.
I want to
if you're
do
not
jury duty. I don't want to do no fucking 265 day. Hell no. I want to
With
do
no
jury.
TV, like nothing.
It does say that many employers
give me like
choose
2
to pay
days.
them.
You know, give me like a nice easy court case. I would like to do that. I don't want to do like no week or no. You know what I'm saying? I wanna,
Dude, honestly, I don't think there would be a lot of disqualifying reasons why the prosecution or the defense wouldn't want you on the jury, depending on the case.
Why is that?
They do it for everything. Like, you're a public figure, you may be distracting the courtroom. Like, there's a whole host of reasons why you get taken off juries.
You might be right. Yeah.
I want to do jury duty.
Well, should we go over excuses how to get out of jury duty? Because
Well, did you watch jury duty?
I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah. So with this, we should get to that. Just some more background on this jury, because it was 265 days. The reason why they were sequestered away from their entire lives, away from work, was because there was so much media about the trial. It was everywhere. It was in magazines. It was in TV. It was in movies that were coming out, because it took so long from the time of the killing to the trial to actually getting started with the trial. So they had to take those 8 months in a hotel, and the hotel took out the TVs, so they couldn't watch TV. They removed all the newspaper service. The entertainment options that they had were sitcom reruns that they could watch, old magazines, and everybody had to have them pre-screened. So if you wanted to watch like an episode of Seinfeld, they had to watch it to make sure there wasn't a reference to like a murder or anything like that.
That should be against the Geneva Convention.
I agree. This is torture.
For 9 months?
Dude,
9 months.
Actually, if it happened right now, they would take your phone too.
I would walk in there the second they were like, we anticipate this trial could be a while, like 6, 7, 8, 9 months. I'd walk in and be like, I will not be impartial. I refuse to convict no matter what the evidence says. And walk out.
I am pro-black, and that man is innocent.
Exactly. I will not convict under any circumstances.
Big T, I love you to say I'm pro-black as it gets, and that man did not do that.
You'd get me if they said 9 months. I'd say anything.
Big T would show up in a defund the police T-shirt.
Absolutely. I'd show up with my cafe on, ready to go home.
It was a long time for them to be sequestered, for sure. And nowadays, I feel like it would just drive you crazy if you didn't have.
Sidebar:
anything.
sequestered might be one of the funnest words to say.
It is sequestered.
Sequestered.
They were sequestered. And over the course of the trial, 10 out of the 27 people that were on the jury, there were 12 jurors and 15 alternates. That would be the worst, being an alternate on that jury, because you have to do all the same shit. You just don't get to vote at the end of it.
That's actually insane.
That is crazy. They had 10 people that were dismissed for various reasons. In the end, there were 10 women and 2 men that found OJ not guilty. 9 jurors were black, 2 were white, 1 was Hispanic. And at the closing statements, only 2 alternate jurors remained unseated. That left Judge Ito very close to having to declare a mistrial, which would have started everything over from the very start.
God, bro.
Yeah, so it almost didn't even get to that point. But Billy, if you're brought in, what would you recommend people say?
Well, if you're related to law enforcement and it's a criminal case or it's a non-civil case, they're always involved. So you can say that you're totally biased towards law enforcement. So like, I was like, my grandfather was a NYPD. So like any case in New York City, I'm biased.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a business owner, a parent, like all those things, I think disqualify you. Like I remember when I was going to get my mom out of jury duty, like I'd get to skip school for a little and she'd just take me down with her, and that would always work because she's the main caregiver. And if you bring the kid, they can't really be like, you're not a mom who has to take care of a kid all the time. Anyone else have any good ideas? How have you guys gotten out of jury duty?
I've never been asked.
Never been selected. Yeah.
I'd have
What?
done it. I'd have done that shit, bro.
Dude, they
Never been
caught me on my college spring break. And I was like, hey, I'm in college. Like, I can't serve jury duty, right? And they're like, no. We made sure it was on your spring break. And I was like, what? How did you know my spring break?
I saw a TikTok recently of a woman who got selected for jury duty, and it was like she just completely forgot about it, and they were on vacation at the time.
Oh, no.
And she called and was like, yeah, I was supposed to be there. I just totally forgot, and we're like out of the country. And we're like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I think you just don't have to go.
No,
that's not
they'll
legal
go after
advice.
you.
They
They'll go after
can,
you.
they can, but they have to spend a lot of resources, and it's a headache, especially if it's like small claims court or something not big. It's not very likely something's gonna happen.
You request a jury trial for skipping out on jury duty, and everybody on that jury would convict you. They're like,
honestly,
I
could
had
you
to do
have a
this shit.
jury?
I don't know.
Everyone is like biased towards as because they're on a jury.
Yeah, it's your constitutional right to have a jury amongst your peers.
No, but Billy's right. If
Yeah,
you're on trial for skipping out on jury duty, there's no way that the people that are there on jury duty can judge you without bias.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I might have found a loophole.
That's like the zone of death where
Yeah.
everything's legal.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about with this
That's
trial
a question you need like AI might be able to answer because Google can't.
Ask AI. Ask it.
Going.
Did you see the lawyer that was using AI that was like citing fake cases?
Yes, I did see that. Yeah. That's
so maybe don't ask AI legal questions.
AI is not ready for a court of law just yet. So I remember where I was when they announced the verdict. I was in PE class, and I thought OJ was innocent. I think I would have been, like 9 years old?
What were you doing in PE that day?
We were watching the OJ trial.
So they like wheeled a TV
They
in?
wheeled the TV in.
You weren't playing Capture the Flag or something?
No, we were probably playing like one of those games with the blue kind of knee board thing that you scoot around the gym on. Yeah,
those were
probably.
goated.
How old
playing
were
on
you?
Those. I think I was 9. Was it
And they were letting you
1994?
watch a murder trial?
Yeah, dude. Everybody in America.
I'm calling cap, dude.
No,
Everyone in America watched
it was a different time. It was the most polarizing.
Yep.
Maybe the MJ trial and this one I would probably give it to OJ, but it was like probably the most polarizing trial of all time.
Everybody,
Which MJ? Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson, yeah, innocent by the way.
Everybody in America was watching this. It was by far the biggest news story. I think the biggest news story of the 90s. It was probably bigger than Clinton getting impeached for getting ahead in the Oval Office, which tells you how big of a story it was. So yeah, we didn't watch the entire trial in school.
This is the verdict.
We watched the verdict in school, and a lot of other classrooms did that too. And I thought he was innocent, and when he was not guilty, I was very happy. And then I grew up a little bit, and because I was like, oh, funny guy from the movies, football player, he's innocent. He didn't do that. Not my OJ. And then you learned a little bit about the facts, and you're like, oh yeah, he probably did that shit.
So this says 150 million people watched the verdict. The U.S. population at the time was 263 million. What were 100 million people doing who weren't watching it?
Working.
Imagine.
Probably people with jobs.
Big T, you'd be. I
Because
feel
it was
like
during the day.
This is a saying you would say, like, why weren't they working?
No, that usually correct, but like this was a generational thing. Like nobody was working during the OJ verdict.
Well,
like nobody was like, I really need that report today, Simon. Like
someone was broadcasting the TV station that was being run by electricity that the electrical lines guys are working. There's definitely people working. Like the cops chasing him, they were working.
Yeah, I just can't imagine being,
Actually,
an adult at the time and being like,
they weren't. Wrong TV. Wrong
yeah, I didn't
TV
watch
set.
the verdict. Like, imagine what a square you'd be at work the next day. You're like, didn't catch it.
Yeah, but imagine how
you heard about
thrilling it
that
would
shit,
be
though.
to tell people, to break the news to people.
Right, but you had to be watching.
Like right after it was over, you watched it, you get to go into the next room, find somebody that hasn't seen it yet.
That would
and you
be
get to tell them.
incredible.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
I love breaking news.
We got to break the news to Hank that OJ died.
Saw that
the other day. Mackenzie did a great lip sync.
I saw that. Hey, Mac, I saw that shit. That shit was funny, bro. You need to do one of them shits for our shits.
I've been saying that for a year, Arian.
I haven't done one in so long, and like someone like tweeted at me like, "Oh, you should do that." I was like, "Yeah, I should do that."
Is that how you got hired?
Sort of. It was like helpful. I had an interview like before COVID, and then like just to be a regular like video editor, and then I started making those, and then like that's what kind of like helped revisit like the next interview during COVID, because I wasn't like going in for another interview.
Yeah, breaking that news. It was very funny.
Thank you.
Getting to see Hank's reaction to it was so good.
Which one would if Mackenzie were to do a macro moment of a lip sync video, I don't even know which one she would do.
Yeah, send me if people have suggestions. Send them to me, because I'll do whatever.
There's a couple that are coming to mind right now.
Real quick,
the ball poison ivy one's a pretty good one.
If you skip jury duty and are subsequently summoned to court, it's like being in contempt of court, so you don't get a trial, and you can't call a jury.
Oh, that sucks.
So it's like a penalty and fine.
It wasn't on the show, but I wish you could lip sync the other day when Madeline said my government name and Arian didn't know who she was talking about.
Oh my God, that was at the he was like telling some story, and Big T was like something. I was like, oh Connor, he was referring to himself.
No, Madeline said it.
Yeah, I said.
Oh, it was okay. You did. She's like, oh Connor. And I was like, who's that? Because I was like, I'm trying to learn everybody's name at Barstool, and he was like, that's me. I was like,
that happened a couple years ago.
I know,
but I figured he knew by now.
Well, it's like I never even think to call you Connor. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it doesn't. When I look at you, you don't look like a Connor. You look like a Big T to me. And you're sitting behind a Big T, and you're always wearing a T. The branding is immaculate, and I just can't. My brain is
very brand loyal over here.
Could Tennessee sue you?
Hey,
no, I can't imagine.
Like
so.
the state of Tennessee.
If his name was Power Team,
for
maybe.
that.
Right, because that's what they call the logo.
Wait, maybe you're
right. But that's not like my.
You'd have to, like,
that's
sell
just what
merch
people
or
call
something.
me. Yeah,
like you're using their likeness a lot. I want you to protect yourself.
Well, I'm
in a lot of
using
legal
it
trouble right
as
now,
as a registered trademark. Anytime I wear it, it's.
That would open up Pandora's box where they're like, we can't sell any of our merchandise to anybody that might wear it on camera at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
And then why would they do that? Big T actually could sue Tennessee.
They should pay me.
They should pay you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a walking advertisement. So yeah, only 4 of the jurors made it the entire way from the original process to become members of the jury, and they voted
real quick, dog,
not guilty. Yeah.
So for people that think we are past a post-racist society, right, or at least a racially neutral society, people that feel like that, go ask a lawyer that has to pick a case or has to pick a jury for a trial. Ask any lawyer. I wasn't even aware of this. I recently went through a court case, right? We had to have a jury. And I'm sitting here listening to them go through, like, what about the black lady? White guy with the blah, blah, blah. We need more black people here. We need white people in here. Or Mexicans, what kind of Mexican? Like this type of shit. I was sitting back like, hey, yo, this is crazy. Because we all feel these kind of racial implications, but when you're picking a jury trial as a lawyer, like they got all their backgrounds, right? So they're like, what kind of black person? What kind of white person? What do they vote? What do they do this? Racial lines are very, very boldly drawn in picking juries, bro. It is wild.
Yeah, they get very, very, they lean on stereotypes a lot.
Super. Yeah.
And you're allowed to.
Mm-hmm. You literally X him out. Nope, we need more white dude. Nope, we need another black person. Nope, we want a black lady. Like this shit's crazy, dog. I was like, yo, this is insane. And the other council's doing the same shit. Wild.
So in the trial, my favorite part of the trial was the gloves. try on the gloves part.
So
You know what they say about the gloves?
If they don't fit, you must acquit.
I was going to say that he was taking arthritis medication, which he stopped taking, and they just recently found this out. It was in the LA Times. The Los Angeles County District Attorney Gil Garcetti says prosecutors didn't know OJ Simpson had been taking arthritis medication before trying on the famous ill-fitting gloves. So he stopped taking it, and it swelled his hands up.
also, the gloves fit.
Not really.
They were like a little too small. They went over his hands.
Kind of.
It was
Kind
like,
of.
it was like right here. It was like right here.
Also, he was. They let him put it on himself. I'm sure he was stretching his hand out as much as he possibly could. It still pretty much fit. You're telling me all you got to do is commit a murder with some gloves that are slightly too small, and you're like, Your Honor, I mean, what do you want?
And also, lost in this is that OJ was a hand model for this glove company, and then he was able to do a little bit of hand acting as he put the gloves on. It's like, yeah, no shit, this guy's a hand model.
And he had worn them on TV, right?
Yes.
Like doing sidelines.
Yes, he had worn them on the sideline. I think it was maybe Monday Night Football or some sort of NFL
Oh wait, hold
broadcast.
on. The same gloves.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need confirmation. I didn't see that shit. Though.
Because he was like, those aren't even my gloves. And then he had been on national TV wearing the gloves.
Oh,
Wait,
he was a rep for Isotoner.
Was the glove he tried
Oh
on?
no, that was a meme. Never mind. That was a meme.
Was the glove he actually tried on the glove they found on the scene, or was it a glove bought of the same size and same
It'd have
brand?
to be the same one.
I mean, I'm remembering from the TV show, which was pretty good, that it was a glove of the same size and brand and not the actual one. They had both. Let me find this.
The other
It would
silly
have
shit.
to be the same
The
one.
other silly shit though is he had some plastic gloves underneath on top of his hand, and then and underneath that he tried to fit of the regular the isotoner gloves. So his hands are naturally going to be a little bigger because of those other gloves on. But again, a monumental fuck up by the prosecution.
Yeah, it was Darden. Darden, the prosecutor, really wanted to have that as like a visual representation. They wanted the jury to see the guy wearing what he wore on his own hands when he killed his wife and Ronald Goldman. And they wanted that visual, so they went after it really hard. In fact, they lucked out because the defense tried to get the gloves thrown out before they were presented as evidence, because they said that they were mishandled by the police.
Which they were.
Which they might have been, yeah. And the prosecution had to demand that they allow this as evidence. The defense tried to say the gloves should be suppressed. And the OJ lawyer, Gerald Uhlman, said, the ironic thing is that if the judge had granted that motion and thrown out the glove, I think the result in the OJ case would have been different. Mark Furman would have been out of the case. They had a pretty compelling case without the glove. The glove kind of opened the door to all the questions about Mark Furman's credibility and his racism. And when he then became such an important witness in the trial, that opened the door to all the problems that Mark Furman created for their case. The gloves were blood evidence, meaning that OJ had to wear plastic medical gloves to try them on, which would create friction, make it harder to pull all the way on. And if the person that's trying to put the gloves on has a reason to make it seem like it's not fitting, wearing that second pair of gloves would give them a really easy way to create all that friction. And then OJ's agent, Mike Gilbert, claimed that he told Simpson to stop taking the arthritis medication, like Billy mentioned, for a few weeks so his hands would swell up. And that way, if he stopped taking his arthritis medication, not only would his hands swell up, but it would make it harder for him to be able to bend any of the joints in his hand, like his fingers, which would also make the gloves harder to put on.
I'm looking at the infamous glove picture right now.
Look at the video. Look at the video. The picture is kind of, it doesn't give the best depiction. Look at him attempting to put the gloves on. They don't really fit, bro.
Yeah, they're a little small, but like they're over his hand completely.
But okay, so this is the thing. If let's go with your theory, Big T. And this is why, like, there's a few things that just don't make a lot of sense to me. If they don't fit, but they're snug and they're tight on your hand, how does one drop one in the midst of committing a murder?
I don't know.
That's a good point.
See, that shit fucks with me. The other shit that fucks with me
I mean,
is,
he was like brutally stabbing people over and over. Maybe a glove flies off. I don't know.
again, like I'm open to all, like I have no dog in this fight. I do think he did it. There's just questions that just don't make any sense to me. The other question I have real quick is, all right, Mez, you're right. There was blood everywhere on that sidewalk and on that walkway. So much so as you could see the murderer's footprints walking away and where he went into the alley. But the blood in the Bronco is like a few drops. And so it's like you're stabbing people like crazy. There's blood everywhere. There's no blood on your clothes like that. There's no blood in the car like that. There's just like drops. I don't know, man.
Can I propose this alternative theory that might actually, of those questions, might pose an explanation that makes a little sense?
I do want to preface and finish it with, I do think OJ murdered those people. I do have questions about the evidence, but go ahead.
So hypothetically, let's say there was another car that wasn't at the scene and moved that may have been covered in blood. That's easier to clean than the scene of the crime.
Who would have been driving that car, Billy?
It may have been Jason. Not Jason Voorhees, but Jason, OJ Simpson's son, who drove a Jeep.
Was there anybody that thought you were talking about Jason Voorhees?
I did for a second.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, it seems like Jason.
Most
Jason
famous one named Jason.
Is he? He's a knife guy too, right?
I think so. Never seen it.
I think it was more of a hatchet, but you could be right.
I think he was a big knife guy, hockey guy.
Didn't he have a chainsaw?
No, not chainsaw guy.
I'm thinking Freddy Krueger. Jason had.
No.
Yeah, it looks like more of a machete than a knife.
Oh. Yeah, machete. That's actually more fair.
Yeah.
Also, pretty crazy. They sell machetes in like many Dick's Sporting Goods. I mean, probably not that crazy, but just unexpected.
They also sell guns.
Yeah. Rather get shot than hacked with machete. Anyone disagree?
Yeah, I would agree with that. If are we talking like a fatal wound?
We're talking, you have to experience it. I think getting shot quick.
Yeah, either way, I feel like you'd have a better chance of surviving a gunshot too than.
Yeah, I mean, machete.
Depends on where, though.
Most places.
You cut right here on the shoulder, I can stomach that.
You can get shot more places in your body and survive than not.
I don't know if that's accurate.
I mean, it's just like your half of your torso and your head. Entire lower body, you can get shot and be fine. Arms, you can get shot and be fine. Even like your stomach, probably.
Legs, you can hit a big artery, but
for the most part.
I don't know.
Stabbing, I feel, is like the worst way to go.
Yeah, that and fire. I would say fire.
Fire, I actually was reading about this recently due to some events. Turns out your nerves get destroyed.
Burns off your nerve endings.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's horrible for like a little bit, but then it actually like once your nerve endings are burned, it like you don't feel anything.
Really? Because I thought that
comforting.
I thought that a severe burn would burn all the way down to the nerve, but then your body, what was left of your nerve, would be sending signals to your brain saying like the nerves are there like ghost pains and they're in extreme agony right now.
Honestly,
that's what I've always heard.
Anyone...
I should preface, I'm not a fire expert.
Also, I feel like getting burnt alive would be minus the nerve and that's very, very scary.
Yes. With the trial, we should talk about Marcia Clark for a little bit. She was one of the prosecutors in this case, and she was all over the news as it was coming out. Like everything she did. Especially when she cut her hair, she made a choice to like cut her hair. She curled it up, and she was on the front cover of the National Enquirer. There were also other headlines like hair-raising salon disaster, Marcia hair verdict, guilty, and curls of horror. And there was a female potential juror who was asked if there was anything that she might hold against the prosecution, and she told Clark, "I think your skirts are too short. How about that?"
That's crazy, yo.
Great way to not get selected on the jury.
That's crazy. But like, this is why, dog. This is why nobody can change my mind about this. We don't need a jury of our peers. I think that's the stupidest shit in the world. A bunch of people that are regular people need not be presiding over cases of magnitude small or large.
No. I disagree.
Let me plead my case, and you can plead yours. It is asinine to have a jury of people that have zero expertise in the field, because the majority of the time what happens, if somebody does have a set of expertise at jury selection, the opposing counsel is going to cancel them out. So you won't have somebody usually that is an expertise in the field of what's going on in the dispute. So what you have is a bunch of lay people trying to understand things, right? And so what happens in the courtroom is it becomes a show. Then it's who can pander to the emotions of that jury trial the best. And it's not necessarily about the best evidence. And this trial is a direct representation of that. There was a lot of evidence that did not get counted because the jury just didn't have a good understanding of what was going on. What needs to happen is state-sanctioned expertises in each field that their job is to be juries. I would rather have the probability of somebody being corrupted rather than my fate being in the hands of somebody who is ignorant about the cases. And this is coming from somebody who's been and lost a jury trial because the emotions were padded to and it wasn't the evidence. And so it's like, it's asinine to ask that of the layman to understand DNA and like all of this stuff. Like, you don't know, especially when you don't know what's going on. So you play to the emotions. I think that's just the opposite of what the point of a jury trial is.
I think the judgment of a regular person, like when it comes to establishment type aspects of what you're talking about, like there is plenty of corruption, plenty of ways people are biased when they work in the system. Someone from outside the system, I think, is able to give a better in Arian, in your, like, that would lean towards favoring police officers. That would lean towards favoring politicians. Like, people in that position would be more than likely to have political leanings. Political, not even in like the micro sense, not macro sense. Like, you know, the way I rule on this is going to affect my job. Like, the corruption is not going to be as overt as you think it is, but I'm dealing with a case right now where there is like literal huge conflicts of interest that may seem small, but they're going to affect the outcome.
Well, this is what, but in your scenario, to me, you have a better chance to mitigate that corruption. Okay, let's say you have a pro cop juror, right? That there's a reason why he's in there as expertise. This is what I'm saying. Like, there should be courses and classes and years of qualifications to be on these juries, right? But let's say you have somebody who's, you know, demonstrably pro cop, has never ruled against a cop in any circumstance. Now we have a record of their voting record. If you're 0 for 100 in the cases in the juries in the cases that you've presided over, that is a clear and cut bias, and now we can take direct action because of your actions.
But then you're asking, but they're going to be judged by their peers who probably will just let them get away with it. I mean, that's what we're seeing with like politics and like tons of stuff. It's not going to be a self-regulating system because they benefit from, you know, letting the status quo be the status quo because it keeps them in power.
But what I'm saying is you have a better probability mitigating that mess than you do having somebody who is pro cop who's going to lie in their jury questions and just because of their feelings are going to listen to the case and say, this is how I feel. You have a way better opportunity to mitigate that, having people who are expertise in their field. Like, but in this particular case, what you do is you have a expertise of like maybe half DNA and forensics and half like murder trial victims or murder trial jury, right? So like people who have seen murder trial after murder trial after murder trial, and people who have seen DNA after DNA after DNA, right? this is your field of expertise. Now you corroborate and see what the evidence leads to. It's less of this glove shit. It's less pandering to the jury, because I don't know if you've ever seen like juries in action. It's just pandering. Right. It's not a lot of evidence being presented because, and then like, so the biggest difference is like when you see like a judge trial versus a jury trial. I mean, a bench trial versus a jury trial. A bench trial, lawyers act night and day different than they do with a jury. When it comes to the jury, it's all fluff. When it's just a judge that sees this shit day in and day out, they're very direct. They're very to the point. Let's get to business. And those trials are usually a little quicker.
Do you think those will be better in like criminal cases?
Yes.
I feel like in that system, you'd find a lot of people found guilty that don't have all presumptions of, I'm forgetting the exact legal words that I'm trying to describe, but people who are like, there's a possibility of them not being guilty, but then getting convicted and putting innocent people behind bars as opposed to someone who did it.
It's literally foundations. I just played in a golf tournament. The foundation was oh fuck, I forgot. I'm gonna butcher it.
Innocence Project.
Innocence Project. And so there's people who literally, that's what they do, is they try their best to reverse some of the decisions made by the judicial system. And a lot of it is jury bias. And we have data upon data about jury bias and how it leans more towards locking up minorities. It's because of our cultural stereotypes that are perpetuated throughout these systems. And this is why people say that we have racist systems in place because of stuff like this. They're not saying that you're inherently biased, but they're saying that your biases can be prejudice. And so to me, a good way to mitigate that is to have expertise who are vetted, who go through courses, who have poured over the data of jury selections in the past, and where social norms are, where we're headed, all of that stuff. To me, there's a very easy way, to me, it would be more efficient. I don't think you can ever get rid of corruption. As long as there's human beings, there's going to be corruption. But to me, there has to be checks and balances in place in order to attempt it. And with me, a jury of your peers, there's no way you can't. You just, it's the luck of the draw.
But they're your peers. That's the whole point.
And most of the time, they're not. For instance, my jury trial, I had one black woman on it. Is that my peers? No. That's not my peers. And that is the literal argument for systemic racism. Is the most of the time, black folks, when you get a jury trial, there isn't a jury of your peers. In this case, it was a jury of his peers, which played into the fact. This is why he walked free.
Because he had a jury of his peers.
I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. The issue is their understanding of the expertise needed to understand a case of this levity. They didn't have it, which is why he walked.
Are you arguing for just judges?
Yeah, you're arguing for like judges with more judges.
Like a bank of judges.
No, because a judge in a jury trial does not convict innocent nor guilty. All he does is with sentencing.
Right, but you're saying people that have like an extensive legal background do the the jury.
Yeah,
no, I'm not.
That's kind of what you're saying.
I'm literally telling you what I'm saying. What I'm saying is jurors should be a occupation. And in that occupation, your field of expertise could be forensic science. It could be family law. It could be whatever the case may be, right? Every court case is different, but the field of expertise you should have a jury full of your field of expertise. That way, the red tape and the clown show that is a jury trial, all that shit goes away because we've seen it before. You can't trick us with emotional ploys. You have to show us the evidence. It's not a judge. It's a jury that would be occupied. This isn't in existence. This is a pipe dream.
One thing I've always wondered about judges, how come judges, they have to say what party they are? Why should judges be a party?
What do you mean? Like
judges, a lot of times, if they're being confirmed, it'll be like this guy is a Democrat or this guy's a Republican. Like they're registered with the party. I feel like they shouldn't be.
I didn't know that.
Sometimes they are, yeah.
Yeah, because they always run for like re-election and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's in a lot of states they get elected and they don't even have to meet. Like for example, in Texas, I think anyone can be elected as a judge.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
maybe,
you don't
I
have
know
to
if
have
it-
a legal background.
I think that's a sheriff. I don't know about judge. It might be true for
Know about
judge
that.
too, but you don't have to have. Yeah, you don't have to have a law degree or anything. You can just be like, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
be sheriff.
But other places you do, and since it's an electoral process, these large party establishments can help you get elected. I'm low key dealing with it right now. It's crazy. So they'll help establishment wants and needs. But I like our legal system because it is innocent until proven guilty. You are presumed innocent, and I feel like if you have like a long-term, long-serving jury, like Arian's talking about, I think they're going to have more, pre-existing thoughts on processes than a layman and a peer.
There's another thing about Marsha Clark here that I did not know until today.
Me neither.
During closing arguments, Johnny Cochran's about to get up there and deliver the closing argument. Glove doesn't fit. You must acquit. The whole nine. Maybe the biggest point of the trial, right? Certainly for the defense. I would say
Iconic line.
closing argument that's putting your stamp on it. The last thing you say,
Nut
obviously.
cutting time.
Nut cutting time. Marsha Clark went over to Johnny Cochran before he gave his closing remarks, and she said to him, when you're up there, I want you to think of only one thing. I'm not wearing any underwear.
What the fuck?
Yeah. She dropped that on old J-Cock before he got up there. And
No
in her
way.
mind, she was hoping that he would just be like thinking about her ass while he was delivering the closing remark. Like he won't be able to stop thinking about my bush.
So back then, that's probably
Yeah.
what was happening. Yeah.
It was style at the time. And the defense attorney, Alan Dershowitz, said he was dubious when Cochran told him this. Cochran told him that story. But then he also asked Marsha Clark directly about it, and she replied, absolutely true. What a wild move.
With all due respect to Marsha Clark.
It's a psych out like from basketball.
Right. But like, with all due respect, she's not exactly a woman that would evoke
She doesn't do it for you.
yeah, like she's not gonna blind
I would.
an attorney with
Not
horniness in the most important moment of his career.
Now, to be fair to Marsha, she was going through a kind of a mental breakdown during this trial. She was in the middle of a custody battle with her husband. She was all over her ex-husband. She was all over the national news, something she had probably not planned on experiencing in her life. And her topless photos had been leaked a couple weeks before because her ex-husband sold them to the National Enquirer, and then they just printed them because you could.
Wait,
do that
isn't
back
that
then.
illegal? Is that revenge
No.
porn, ain't it?
Not then. Not then. It wasn't.
It wasn't back then, huh? Damn.
Yeah, so she was on a nude beach, and her ex-husband sold them to the Enquirer, and they published them. And so now she's like way more in the news than she ever thought she'd be. She's probably going through a lot of stress. Still, I don't know where they teach that. Where'd she go to law school? Can you look that up, Big T? But she said to him,
that was on the syllabus for the semester.
I misrepresented the quote earlier. I apologize for that. She whispered it to him. So she was like, Johnny, I'm not wearing any underwear. And then he probably had to shudder. He was like, ooh.
She went somewhere called Southwestern Law School, which sounds fake as hell.
It does. Sounds like you get your degree.
Wait, she whispered to Johnny Cochran
right before his closing argument, yeah.
that she wasn't wearing underwear.
Yep.
Just throw him off?
I don't know. Maybe it had
didn't.
the exact opposite effect where Johnny was a little bit horned up and he's now wanting to. It's like your crush showing up to your football game, where Johnny Cochran's like, I gotta wow her now because I'm definitely gonna get it in afterwards.
He has my jersey on right now.
I mean, there's definitely an element of blood from the brain elsewhere not letting you operate on all cylinders.
It tells me maybe she was horned up. I think she was horny when she was delivering her closing remarks.
You know what it makes me think? Because like going through a few like trials in Houston, and just like the judicial process, all these lawyers are friends, especially like in the community. They all know each other. There's like a handful of them that try case after case, right? And you have like some who are, new or whatever the case is, but the majority of lawyers and DAs and judges, they all know each other. And so it would surprise me if they haven't met in some kind of other circumstance, in some kind of other area, then they haven't been flirtatious before, because that not only is it not like professional, it's like psychotic if you don't know this person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need jury of our peers and not established juries.
There's nothing to do with
because they all know each other. They all do each other favors.
I'm not going back and forth with you again. We laid out our cases. We disagree.
You're proving mine.
Billy, are you wearing underwear?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you might win this argument then.
Hey, Big T, what color are your underwear?
Throwback.
That is a throwback. I actually have no idea.
You know what? I think I need a guess before I get
Billy,
out
you want
of
to take
here.
a guess? Take a guess.
No. I don't want to guess. I would like Arian to guess.
You know what? It's your last show. Take the reins, brother. Go ahead and guess the color.
No, I don't want to guess it.
You brought it up.
You were
Somebody
the one
guess
guesses
it.
I used to guess it 3 years ago.
I'm just
All right,
guess.
one last hoorah. All right. We're gonna go with navy blue.
It's like a royal blue.
Oh,
interesting
it's
color.
a bright one.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't do a lot of those.
Feeling spicy.
Does that ever
He
like
woke up
show up
saying
through
it.
your shorts?
It is birthday week.
I'm wearing khaki shorts.
Birthday week draws. We on.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing. These are not crazy looking. They're just-
little what is it? Sequence?
Sequence on there. Some
Definitely not.
Some lace.
All
That
right,
might
that's
be.
enough.
Was that your first underwear guess, Mackenzie? As a member of this show?
I haven't been a part of that.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted it the other day, and I was extremely confused, but I just assumed it was something before my time.
Yeah.
They just asked you what color underwear Big T was wearing.
No, it was like, I think they might have tagged everyone, and I happened to see it, and it was like, bring back why haven't we guessed Big T's underwear color in a while?
You were like, excuse me?
Only by special request will we do that.
I used to have to, on Mondays and Wednesdays, as I was getting dressed in the morning, be like, what color boxers did I wear last week? I can't double up because Arian's gonna know.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Dude.
torture. He woke up, thought about me in the morning.
Well, he's putting his underwear on.
I'm out of underwear.
Gotta shake it up for Arian today.
You're out of underwear, Billy?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
No, I mean, I ran a half marathon. And
Congrats, I saw that.
didn't shit myself during the marathon. But it actually hit me later in the day after I was done with the marathon.
You shit your pants?
It was at home, like after running a marathon, so like I was dirty in the first place, and it wasn't that bad, but don't trust a fart during a half marathon or after a half marathon, especially if you go drinking directly after the half marathon.
Wait, did you shit yourself? And I'm not shaming you because it happens.
Not
to the
at
best
the
of us.
bar.
Happens to the best of us. Did you shit yourself so bad that you ruined every pair of underwear you
Yeah,
own?
wait.
No, well,
You
because
just said you're
had
out of underwear.
I've been too sore to do laundry from the half marathon. I was taking extra pairs of underwear to the event in my bag just in case. And then those got all sweaty. So my extras and my others, so I'm down to like my weird ass underwear right now. There's actually unicorns on it. So
Oh my God.
weird ass underwear situation.
Arian, when was the last time you shit yourself? Be honest.
I don't know.
It's
man.
a common thing with marathons.
Oh, yeah.
I don't doubt that.
I meant in general.
I've never ran a marathon, so I don't know, man. I can't recall me shitting myself in the recent days of my life.
I've definitely done it in the last 2 years at some point.
What?
Yeah, like,
Why?
but it's like not. I don't sit there and just put an entire log into my pants. I'm not a baby. I'm not. I don't poop and then my eyes get all wide. I'm like, uh-oh.
I mean, this is the question you posited to me. When was the last time you shit yourself?
No, you fart, and it's bad. It's bad news.
The time I was eating
maybe you're
fucking
sick.
dinosaur nuggets. I don't know.
Maybe you're sick. Maybe you got a stomach
It's
thing
more of
going
a
on.
shart. It's a shart.
It's a big shart. Yeah, like a significant shart.
Hefty shart.
A hefty shart.
Well,
Level
I think
2.
everybody kind of has a little bit of that.
You get level
can't-
1
Yeah,
sharts.
so you
said
not
shit
above it.
yourself. I've not shit myself. Shitting yourself is sitting in there. You said I've ran out of underwear. So
No, literally ran out of underwear. That's what
Yes,
it says. You didn't hear the marathon part.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody like farted and they're like, okay, yeah, let me just double wipe right quick. Everybody goes through that every now and then. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we're talking about like a level 2 where level 1 is where
I've never had to change my drawers. Nah.
Yeah, you have to change your underwear. You've never had to change your underwear.
When I was a child and I was eating dino nuggies and shit like that, yeah. But like not as a grown up. I don't know.
Not even like during a game, a poop came on and you had to like run
Nah,
off.
because I was very diligent about boo booing before the game.
Make
it
you
was
lighter.
like it was like nervous boo boo. Like you had like all them nerves.
Yeah.
I would always get one out before the game, so I didn't really have. And I didn't ever eat much before the game because I can't stomach it, and so it's like just didn't really have much in the tank.
Yeah, nothing to go out.
Have you
I
guys
have a
ever
question.
ran a marathon? Has anyone ever ran a marathon here? Or a half marathon? Or like a long race 5K?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Has anyone ever run before?
I will say that I have run a 5K before. I said at some point I was going to run a marathon or a half marathon and never tell anyone about it. I would be the first person to ever accomplish that task. So I can't say if I have or not.
Okay, well, I did the first one ever. Actually, technically, but everyone's just shitting before the race starts. Literally, they bring thousands of porta potties, and the lines are out the wazoo at every single one. It's insane. I didn't know this was like a thing, but it's like a very common phenomenon where people are concerned about their bowel problems while running. Shout out Davis Clark.
Yeah, shout out Davis
Yeah.
Clark.
Just shat all over himself.
Disgusting.
And was bleeding everywhere. He was free bleeding and free pooping.
Billy, I know you pretty well. Did you happen
Yep.
to ingest any pre-workout supplements before you did this run that would increase the likelihood of pooping?
No, low-key, I just did like some shrooms. It was sick.
Well, shrooms do that.
Yeah.
That might have
I
had something to do with
ran
it.
a 145 NBD. No training.
It's pretty impressive.
No training.
Arian, I wanted to ask you one quick question about what made me think of this. Oh, because you were talking about how you didn't eat a lot before the game. On the quarterback show on Netflix, Kirk Cousins, after one of the games, he like brings his kids into the locker room and he's like, y'all go get some food. There's like a whole spread of food after the game and it looked unbelievable.
Oh, yeah,
Just
that's pretty
like
dope.
all the best foods ever. Did y'all have that?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. So there was a couple of instances. So like pre-boarding the plane, there would be like something catering. Somebody catered, like either like a local restaurant or like a known restaurant. They would come and cater. So like before you got on the plane to go wherever it was, there would be like a massive spread of like whatever. Sometimes it was wax, sometimes it was Chick-fil-A, sometimes you don't call Frenchie's chicken in Houston. If you had that shit, bomb. But like after the game, they had a family room, and yeah, spread was. I used to go in there after, chill with all the family members and just eat. That shit was bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the Vikings had 2 years ago looked unbelievable.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's been enhanced since then. I mean, yeah, since my time in the league, because everything just exponentially gets better.
Do you remember when Randy Moss went back to the Vikings and he was only on the team for a little bit? I think this was his tenure with the Vikings, not the Titans, but he was cut from the team in the middle of the season. It was at the end of his career. He wasn't the Randy Moss of old. And a story came out that the ownership was not happy with Randy because they had a catering spread from a local company. It was like a barbecue company that came in, brought a bunch of stuff, and Randy took a bite of it, and he was like, what is this shit? I wouldn't feed this shit to my dogs. Threw it out, embarrassed the caterer, and then the ownership group sided with the caterer over Randy Moss and cut him from the team.
Oh, wow.
Got to keep those sponsorship dollars.
I guess so.
That's why he got cut.
That's
Yeah,
why he got
didn't-
cut one time.
He
Yeah,
didn't like the homie barbecue, so I don't really fuck with him like that.
yeah. They took it personal.
Yeah, that's
Um,
wild.
more interesting things about the OJ trial. We all know he was not convicted in the trial, but he was convicted in the civil case. So he owed $33 million in damages to the family of the Goldman family and the Brown family. So OJ he couldn't pay. He didn't have the money for it. So a bankruptcy court awarded the publishing rights to the book, If I Did It, to the Goldman family. Still a wild, wild book for him to write.
Insane.
So they gave the publishing rights to If I Did It to the Goldman family. The book is a first-person narration of the night in which Simpson claims the knife-brandishing excursion to his ex-wife's house was intended to scare rather than slaughter, and that events escalated unintentionally. Again, hypothetical book, If I Did It, written by OJ Simpson. Also ghost-written by the same guy that ghost wrote Jose Canseco's autobiography. Isn't that interesting?
I mean, that guy, whoever he is, he's really good at making money from books.
He is, yes. He's very good at it.
So quick fun fact. The reason why OJ, I alluded to this on our early episode, like this is I think it's second or third episode. The reason why OJ's civil trial went after the criminal was because of the Michael Jackson allegations, and how that panned out was that they did the civil trial first, and then they did the criminal, in which the parents they won the civil trial, which is a lower bar of evidence to prove. Or I didn't even win it. They settled it. They settled the civil trial, and then they went to the criminal, in which the parents of the child chose not to persecute, even though the DA wanted him to. They refused to press charges, continue with the charges pressed against Michael Jackson. And it was such a shit show in the media storm that there was a new law written in California that says if there is a criminal trial, the criminal trial must go first and then the civil one. So, fun fact.
So when the Goldmans got the rights to that book, what they did was probably a pretty smart move. They were able to change the title, and they changed it to If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer. And then they made the word if really, really tiny in super small font. So it looks like I Did It, The Confessions of a Killer. And it was in large blood red block letters on it. And then they made all the money off that. So
do we know how much?
How
much did they make off that?
I don't know how much that book brought in. Probably not 33 mil, but probably a couple mil, right?
I would assume.
So how does this square with your guys' belief that OJ is possibly innocent? The fact that he wrote If I Did It.
I mean, I think he is innocent, and that's why he did it, because he can't be caught. And do we want to get back to the Jason theory? Because I think it makes much more sense than what we have the story is currently.
Okay, but when he writes the book, If I Did It, and it's about him going to the house, trying to pick a fight, trying to scare them, and then escalating and then killing them, why, if you didn't do that, if you weren't the actual killer, why would you write that book?
Because it's better than telling the truth, than telling the real story.
You don't have to tell any story, though.
But you need to make money. And honestly, you may be distracting from somebody else who actually did it.
Okay.
Because you love that person very much.
So let's hear it.
I mean, honestly, when I first heard about this, it honestly, like, it kind of paints OJ as like kind of the figure that everyone sort of had of him, as like a popular movie star, football player, like good guy, quote unquote, like, but he had to do something to save his very troubled son that saw his daughter, his sister, drown, and so much more. And he was troubled. And for him to be a father who basically stepped up and caused a whole distraction in order for his son to like not go to prison and not go to jail for the rest of his life, because he knew that it would be easier if he went to trial because he didn't actually do it. So, I mean, here's the evidence regarding Jason Simpson. So Jason Simpson was a sous chef. He quite literally had like access to knives all the time. Not only that, Jason didn't punch out of work that night. he was traditionally supposed to do, and his alibi was terrible. And not only that, Nicole and the kids were supposed to come to his restaurant and eat dinner there that night, but for some reason they didn't. Who knows why? There may have been disagreement. Jason had a weird relationship with Nicole, like a sort of hated her for being his stepmom, but also had a weird crush on her. Jason at the time was being medicated. He was on antipsychotics. I think the exact stuff that he was on was called like Nicode, Depakote, for rage. He had a rage disorder, and at the time he was off his meds. He'd been trained in hand-to-hand combat at the Army and Navy Preparatory School. He basically went through like knife training. So we have a guy with access to knives who knows how to knife fight, and he's off his meds. He then, at the time of the murders, was on probation for threatening a prior boss with a knife. And he had threatened to stab his girlfriend. And, you know, his alibi was terrible. He said he was with his girlfriend at the time, but his girlfriend didn't back it up. He was very nervous when being questioned by the lawyer, which is expected. But, you know, his car may have been the one that left the scene with all the blood in it, and they were able to dispose of it and able to clean it. And it was never investigated by the prosecution. So there's a lot of evidence that points to, hey,
that part right there, where you say his car may have been, like, what led you to believe that it could have been his car?
Because as you were talking about, remember the white Bronco had no blood on it except for a couple drops.
Yep.
The killer and the killer's getaway vehicle would have had a lot of blood on it. If it was Jason, who wasn't suspected as a suspect, he may have had all the blood on him. He may have had the blood all over his car, and he may have been able to get rid of all the evidence while, say, you know, OJ Simpson was a lightning rod for all the attention of the investigation. So how it could have happened, Jason goes home. He's in a fit of rage because Nicole, you know, didn't go to his restaurant for dinner, or there may have been another altercation about many things that a stepmother and a stepchild may have had. This was before cell phones. So the cops never had any cell phone records. Actually, I think specifically, wait. Okay, so it was in the early days of cell phones, and the cops never looked at the cell phone records. And Jason had called his dad on his cell phone and told him to come over. Possibly, the call that was made may have been trying to communicate to OJ, "Hey, come over and help me cover up this crime." So the knit cap that OJ supposedly wore had dog hairs on it that were unexplained. So that may have been worn by Jason. So he could have done this easily.
What about the DNA evidence?
The DNA evidence, that's the crowning thing. The DNA was in that time period, showed OJ, right? But it could have very easily also been his son's DNA, which he shared 50% of OJ's DNA. So, like, I don't know if back then, like, they were able to be like, oh, this DNA is very similar. It's just as similar as, like, if they could differentiate a son and a father.
It definitely, at the time, it wasn't where it is today. We know that. But it was still, I think it was pretty concrete. It was, the chances of it being somebody else were 1 in hundreds of millions.
Could be son.
I guess the son's DNA being that similar would probably be, it would be as close as you could get to it.
Or he may have been putting his DNA on the scene to sway it away from his son.
Or it was planted.
So that's the thing. So there was in the DNA samples that they found from the socks, which if you have an opportunity, Johnny Cochran dismantles the whole sock thing. And it's good. The prosecution was just bad. But in that DNA, and I think in the DNA found at the at the crime scene with his fingerprint or blood drop or whatever the case may be, there was something called EDTA found in the samples of blood that were collected from the crime scene. EDTA is a blood fixer, anticoagulant used in labs and mixed with collected blood. So it's like what you like if you were to bottle blood in, you would find traces of EDTA in there. They found that in the samples collected from OJ Simpson. On top of that, the dude that collected OJ's blood, for cross verification, this is crazy. What LAPD fucked up. The dude that collected it said that he took 8 milliliters or something like that. And when they tested it, all that was accounted for was 6 milliliters. So there was 2 missing. On top of that, the person that took the blood from OJ to the police department, too much time had passed. It was like hours upon hours that had passed from the transference of OJ's blood samples. On top of that, I don't remember which one it was. I have wrote it down. One of the pieces of evidence, I don't know if it was the prosecution or it was the LAPD. I think it was the LAPD. They took something home with them. So like it was just all jumbled and all mismanaged. And it was like, I could see as a jury where you sitting there like, what the fuck? It looked sus. And it's why they were saying that evidence was planted. On top of that, Furman was a racist. Like he was a known racist. Like they dug into it, which is why when you was talking about the glove not fitting, they shouldn't have done that because they were going to look into Furman. Furman was on audio tape calling black folks is what it is, right? It was just a known thing. So,
and was he a Nazi too?
He had Nazi stuff in his house. He had
there was a lot of Nazi.
He had memorabilia from the Third Reich with swastikas on it in his house that he claimed were historical artifacts.
Unless you personally got it from Nazi Germany when you were beating them, I don't think there's a good excuse to have Nazi memorabilia.
I don't
in your
think
house.
that's a good excuse.
What if you
liberated? If you like beat Nazi Germany,
why would you keep a swastika?
Well, no, like you took it off a dead Nazi. So I think that's pretty cool. If you killed a Nazi,
I'm with Billy. I'm with Billy.
No, I agree.
I'm with Billy on this.
Wait,
Aaron. Let me explain it to you because I think
if you killed him.
Wait, Aaron. I think
if you killed a Nazi and you take a swastika off him and
take like their uniform.
No. What I'm saying here is if you kill a Nazi, if you kill a Nazi in Germany. And then you bring back something, maybe it's his gun.
A trophy.
And at the bottom of his gun, it has like where it's not displayed prominently, but there's a swastika on it because that's what they gave to everybody. And you keep that. I think if you killed the guy, you can have that as a keepsake. I'm not saying display a swastika.
Yeah, like in your attic, somewhere. Like, oh, this is Grandpa's box from World War II. Then you open it up and you're like, oh shit, what the fuck, Grandpa?
I think y'all are fucking crazy. I think that that is psychotic behavior. If you murder somebody in war, if you kill somebody in war, and you take memorabilia from them, that is psychotic.
It happens all the time.
Doesn't mean it's not psychotic.
I think it's against the Geneva Convention too.
Is it?
I don't know, but that is crazy behavior.
If you can lock people in a hotel for 9 months with no TV, you can take a uniform off of somebody that you kill in World War II.
Would you wear it? Was wearing it okay?
No. On
the day that you killed him to celebrate your
you're not gonna wear it.
Well, that's a bad idea in a theater of war to like put on your enemy's uniform and then go back to your buddies.
The entire
hey guys,
shit
it's me.
Batshit crazy. Y'all are
well, you do jersey swaps. It's kind of the same.
I have not made a soul. Jesus.
That was a joke. I'm not equating.
We got Rommel and MacArthur holding up each other's uniforms after the war is over.
That was crazy, man. Like, I know you was a Confederate, but I really respected what you did out there, man.
You fought hard.
Appomattox Courthouse was the first jersey swap.
Yeah, tell Lee I said what's up. We went to college together.
An AI of like the general swapping. That's ridiculous. It I would laugh, but I know it's wrong.
Wait, Mackenzie was about to say something about her family. I
Yeah,
think.
no, I was gonna say my grandpa fought in World War II, and he has my mom has it, but a piece of Hitler's mantle because they raided his house after. He didn't kill him specifically, but they raided his house, and he was part of the raid after it, and they took stuff, and we have a piece of Hitler's mantle.
Dude, my cousin has
sick.
a chair
Yeah.
from Saddam's palace.
It's probably worth a lot of money.
Well,
probably.
if you co-host a podcast with Bert Kreischer, he'll get you.
Oh, yeah.
For your birthday, an increasing value. He will buy you birthday presents every single year until it reaches a culmination where he buys you Hitler's teacup.
No, Tom Segura bought that for him.
Oh, he bought that for Bert.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then Bert, and then told him after the fact, that's Hitler's.
That video
It
comes up
is
on
so
TikTok once
funny.
every couple weeks, and I watch the full thing every time.
Because
It's unbelievable.
the reaction afterwards.
It's so funny.
That's
That-
maybe
that's
I'm in the
fucked up.
minority. That shit is crazy, though.
No, that's fucked up to force Hitler's teacup on somebody without them knowing. That's very fucked
But
up.
it's kind of sick to have.
It would be yo, fellas, look what I brought back. I think it was better back then. I think it was okay back then. Now, not so much.
I think for the record, I would not have any of that in my house. But if a soldier personally,
Hang on, you're backing off now.
no, that's what we're talking about.
No.
You just
I would
agreed.
not keep it.
No, I said if
it
I was a soldier and from Mackenzie's point of view, if her grandfather killed a Nazi and then took his gun and he was like, "This is what I brought back, a Nazi's gun." Who am I to judge them for that? I don't think that her grandfather is a Nazi. In fact,
person.
I think that her grandfather is less of a Nazi.
I don't know her grandfather. I don't want to make any personal judgment.
I think it's crystal clear proof that
but
her grandfather's
like,
Antifa.
Yeah.
bro, war, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because I'm anti-war. I'm extremely anti-war, and I think memorabilia for war is psycho, bro. Psycho.
I personally am anti-war too, so I would never find myself in that position, but I'm not going to judge somebody that is put into a massive war that steals somebody's gun.
I guess I'm judging them in the sense of I would never do it, as far as be in a war. I'll be in jail before I go fight somebody else's war. I'm not gonna do it. But I can't relate, and so I guess I would just leave it there because I don't want to have people oh, you disrespected the military. And nothing to do with that. It's just wild to me that you would. I just look at it if somebody breaks into my house and I killed him, I'm not taking his shirt and putting it in my attic for one time.
That's not the same. That's not the same.
How's it not the same?
Because they were fighting the Nazis.
Yeah, they're
dude is trying to
de facto
This dude
evil.
is trying to kill your family that is evil.
You know what? I actually take back what I said. If a guy breaks into your house and you shoot him and you take an article of clothing and display it somewhere as this guy tried to fuck with my family and I shot him in the head, I'd respect that, actually. I take back, I'm on board with that.
Now,
actually.
wait, I might be wrong in my interpretation of this, but what is the significance of the sneakers being thrown over the telephone wires?
Where'd that come from?
There's a bunch of different ones. Sometimes it was drug spots. Sometimes it was
Mike.
Oh, is that if you kill somebody? Is that what you're saying?
I thought it was if you beat someone up on the edge of your turf, you take their shoes and throw it on the telephone pole to mark your territory.
I thought it was a drug house.
I never heard that. I heard it was drug
People were
spots
doing
back in
it
the
for
day.
fun.
But I could be wrong about that. It's just been a minute since I even seen that shit.
Yeah, that's kind of gone away.
I don't.
It's
think it has.
it's like a
Maybe it's
teardrop
not that.
tattoo.
For some reason, I thought it was the shoes of somebody that had passed away.
I actually don't. I never really asked. I just assumed it was that's where a dope spot was. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Shoe tossing.
Speaking of shoes, there were some shoes that were used as evidence in the trial. There were size 12 Bruno Magli. They were the Lorenzo boots. And they found a bloody print at the murder scene that matched to that exact pair of shoes. OJ denied that he owned a pair, and he said in a deposition for the civil trial that he'd never wear those ugly-ass shoes. But photos were dug up, showing him wearing the brand on 2 separate occasions. And there was a buyer at Bloomingdale's, and she worked in the men's shoe department, that testified about showing a pair of the Lorenzos to OJ, but couldn't remember if the football star actually bought them. He bought a bunch of dress casual stuff. He wanted something that was comfortable, but I remembered what he didn't buy more often than I remembered selling him that particular shoe. Eventually, after the criminal trial was over, they found the photograph of OJ wearing the Bruno Magli shoe at a Bills game. All the stuff he wore on the sidelines ended up being parts of this
Not
case.
a lot of foresight on his part.
No, for sure.
But
And if they had found that
see,
photograph
that's
before the criminal trial, that would have been submitted into evidence, and it probably would have made him look more guilty. But they didn't find the photograph until after all that stuff was over.
So here's another thing that or something where I'm just like, I don't know, man. He was on a flight that night in first class, and they talked to the lady who was sitting with him, by him, in first class, and they asked her. This is in the transcript in the court case. I forget the lady's name, but they were like, she saw him at the airport, saw him sitting in first class. She even was like, I even looked at his hands because apparently the killer had a cut on his hand, right? His left hand. And she's like, I saw his hands. And they was like, well, why were you looking at his hands? She was like, because he was a football star that I knew, and I wanted to see if he had a championship ring on his hand. And so I was looking at his hand. She's like, did you see any cuts or abrasions or anything? She's like, no, his hands looked fine. And she says, well, they said, well, was there a championship ring on there? She says, no. And so he's on a plane that night, and then he flies back. And so like people had saw him, remember, interviewed in the airport, on the plane. And it's just like, it's just shit like that to me. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It was Jason.
I mean,
It wasn't him.
to Billy's point, the shoes could have been worn by the son.
It's
I wear my dad's old clothes. Happens all the time.
Hand-me-downs.
Plus, if your dad doesn't like those pairs of shoes, he thinks they're ugly, then you snatch them.
Wait, so Arian, I'd never heard this before. So after he probably killed him, he got on a plane?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how soon after?
I'd have to look that up.
I'll look it up.
There's no security back then, so he could hop on a plane pretty quickly.
The judge, Lance Ito, he became a little star whore in this trial. He loved it. He loved the attention. He brought the Tonight Show. He would watch the Tonight Show every single night because he would hope that they would do the recurring bit of the dancing Itos, where they just have a bunch of judges that looked like Judge Ito.
Remember that?
You remember
dog?
the dancing
Holy
Itos? Yeah.
shit. I haven't heard about that shit in years, though. Wow.
Yeah. So Judge Ito brought everybody, like all the defense lawyers, the prosecution, brought them into his chambers, and he was like, "You guys are gonna love this. Check this out." And then he played them the dancing Itos, and they were like, "What are you doing? This is weird. This is really strange."
It's a bunch of little me's. You know what
Yeah, this is the judge in a double murder trial, bringing the prosecution in, bringing the defense in, being like, "Isn't this funny how they're having fun with it?" And that's me.
It's just kind of
Content is king.
Yeah, he was in.
Wow. Oh, what's her name? I meant to bring this up too. Okay, Lori Metcalf from the Roseanne show. I used to watch Roseanne when I was growing up. They did like a little bit where she dressed up as what was the prosecution's lawyer name?
Marsha Clark.
Marsha Clark. When I tell you they look alike, bro, that shit is crazy. Look up.
Is that
Lori
They do look
is that the
alike.
daughter?
No,
that's
No.
the auntie.
it's Aunt Becky, right?
Yeah,
it
Jackie
Aunt
Harris.
Becky?
Yeah, Jackie. Aunt Jackie.
And
Aunt
Jackie.
Becky is the college
Full-
admission scandal.
I thought Aunt
Full
Becky
House.
was
Oh, yeah, Full
House.
House.
Yeah, Full House. Yeah. But they look hella alike, bro. That shit's crazy.
They do.
By the way, you know what's crazy? Did you guys see the Sacha Baron Cohen recent skits he was doing? And one was he was pretending he was like a super rich French guy who was trying to get OJ to confess to his murders. And he was like, "Yeah, I killed my wife too. We go out on yacht and she disappeared. Where's my wife?"
She said
Did
that.
you guys-
He said that to OJ.
Yeah, it was something like that. And he was trying to get OJ to admit to it. And OJ was like, "No, dude, no. Like, he didn't even admit to a guy who is admitting. I don't know. I just like they almost got him if he were to do it, but the way he reacted, it was kind of like, yeah, he's like, he's not thinking he's amongst other wife killers.
Wait, but this was in something that he obviously knew was being recorded.
No, it was one of those goofs that like in Borat where they were.
Sacha Baron Cohen has a show on Showtime that I used to watch where he got Rudy Giuliani as well. Like he'll go to like prominent figures and he'll dress up in makeup and stuff and like get them to do or say stupid ass shit. Like he had one I forget the politician's name, but he had one dude agreeing to let second graders have guns as well, which is it's fucking hilarious. Like, and it's kind of brilliant how he does it. But I didn't see the OJ one.
Yeah, we should take a break and watch it very quickly because he almost gets him to break, but like if he had done it, he would have broken. That's what it's crazy. And so many people have tried to get him to break, and like OJ joking about like, I don't know. It's not that I think OJ didn't do it, but like this Jason theory is the only thing that makes logical sense to me, unless OJ Simpson just is that crazy of a psychopath that he was able to differentiate and separate himself from this. Because Jason, his son, was the first person to get a lawyer. Like that night, I think Jason had a lawyer.
So I'm watching this interview right now. Maybe a part that went wrong was that the character he was playing looks very, very much obviously like somebody wearing a wig and like prosthetics.
He's interviewing him as well. He knows he's on camera.
Yeah, it's on camera.
Are you sure? I thought it was hidden camera.
I guess it's hidden. No, he's in a hotel room. I'll take it back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hidden. He doesn't know he's being interviewed, and he's like, no, what? He's like, I mean, only God can judge him right now. Hate to speak ill of the dead, but St. Peter, see if the glove don't fit, I must have quit, works on St. Peter at the gates.
There's just a lot of side characters involved in this trial. Johnny Cochran, all-time lawyer. He was like so famous after this. If you wanted a dream team, if you wanted the highest priced lawyer in the world, you hired Johnny Cochran.
He did a fantastic job.
He did a great job
picking Nate shit apart.
One of the things that they did before the trial, I think it was actually during the trial, the jurors had a field day. They got to go out and they walked through OJ's house to see where he lived. And then they talked about, okay, here's where things were found in the house, et cetera, so they could get a visual representation of it. Before the jury went to his house, the lawyers went through OJ's house and they gave it a complete makeover. So they had a bunch of pictures of OJ with white friends, and they took all those down and they replaced them with pictures of OJ with black family members or a different black friend. They put African art up in the house that belonged to Johnny Cochran. They brought stuff from Johnny's house and they put that up in OJ's house in order to appeal to the jury a little bit more. And I don't know how much that had to do with the jurors finding him not guilty, but it definitely was a good legal move by Johnny Cochran.
Wild.
I mean,
there was also Kato Kalin. Kato was the GOAT. He is the GOAT. Kato, actually recurring guest on Part of My Take and Big If True, the trivia show that we used to do on Sirius. Kato called in. I think he was like one of the celebrities that we competed against at one point. But he was like the biggest bro ever. And he was, I think, OJ's like house watcher, house
pool
sitter,
boy, right?
Pool boy, man about the house, looked after the kids a little bit. Kato was an all-time membo. And I love Kato. He was the best. And his hair was perfect. He had the best hair ever.
I mean,
they like Kato so much they named their dog after Kato. So there are two Katos in the house.
And we also, I mean, we haven't mentioned them once up to this point, but the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where it was born. I mean, OJ and Rob Sr.
Yeah.
The father was called Rob, right? Yeah. Met at USC. OJ was the best man at their wedding, and he helped put together their legal team as a lawyer. I mean, how like it's crazy the events that occurred to get us to this point where the Kardashians are such a huge name and brand and likeness, and it kind of all started there.
Yeah, this was really the start of them being like massive celebrities.
I'll tell you whether he did or didn't do it. I'll tell you what he did do. He's Chloe's dad.
You think so?
I think I actually believe that, yeah.
Do you? I don't know enough about it. I've just heard people say it.
I mean, just look at him.
I actually don't.
You don't
think so? Because she looks a lot like Rob, the brother.
Can't even tell what she looks like. Give me like a version of her that was before all the work.
Hold on, I'll send you.
Because I mean, she looks like the knife of a really great surgeon.
I mean, credit to Rob. He married well. Chris she's an all-timer.
Now, if you see Rob Kardashian Jr., you can be like, oh yeah, there's that in that genes. Like there can be like a little bigger.
Oh hell no, that's not OJ daughter, bro.
I liked in the show that they did where Robert Kardashian was played by David Schwimmer.
That was one of our questions on The Dozen today, was who played Robert Kardashian in the OJ Simpson show.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you said him, I was like, who the fuck is that? Ross played him because I was thinking Ross from Friends. Like I only know him because of his name from Friends. I was like, that's wrong. But then I was like, that's probably not his real name.
Two great moments of casting in that: Robert Kardashian, David Schwimmer. And then Robert Shapiro was played by John Travolta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like a bloated John Travolta. It was wonderful. And as we mentioned before, Alan Dershowitz was on the defense team, kind of. He was remotely serving as an advisor. Alan Dershowitz, he also represented Bill Clinton. I don't know if he formally represented Trump. I think he might have at some point. But he's like all over the news as a legal consultant right now. He was great friends with Jeff Epstein, the financier. They were very close friends. I think he's also lobbied for age of consent laws to be changed. He's a real weird guy. Anyways, this guy Dershowitz, he was watching on CNN Court TV because the trial was aired live, which it's a made for TV event. It's wild, but everybody was glued to it. That's really the start of Court TV. Court TV would not have existed without the OJ trial. And
the Michael Jackson trial is probably what did it though.
You think so?
Right before that, it was global news.
So this was kind of like the internet before the internet really popped off, because he was able to watch the trial, and then he would have his staff look shit up during the trial as the testimony was ongoing, and then he would be able to fax over what he found to the courtroom and have them deliver these faxes to the attorneys in real time. So they had a big leg up because nobody was doing that on the prosecution side.
That's wild. I saw him recently on Piers Morgan. He was arguing with a dude it was Mark Lamont Hill, who I'm a super fan of. And then I forget the dude's name, but he wrote against whatever the case was. So he was actually saying, listen, I ain't saying he didn't do it, but what I am saying is they fucked this up. The LAPD absolutely planted evidence, and they botched all the evidence. Like he's like very adamant. He like knows his shit. I was listening to him. He like knows his shit about it. But he's like super thoroughly convinced. And then he didn't convince. He's like argued the other dude down, where that dude was like, I don't know. It was 30 years ago. But he's very adamant about that.
Yeah, I wonder if you were able to get Johnny Cochran to speak honestly about everything, if he would have said, like, yeah, he probably should have been convicted. Like, I wonder if he was surprised.
It's crazy that lawyers, and I guess this is like the juxtaposition, like, do lawyers feel morally good when they defend someone they know is guilty? Like, because you have like lawyer-client confidentiality, and they know they're trying to do like a service in the grand scheme of things, that, innocent until proven guilty. But like, how do you sleep at night, like representing? I mean, I guess you just love money, like, and usually only high.
I don't think they look at it like that. I don't think they look at it like that. I think they look at it like Like, I am presented with a case. My job is to represent this case and to argue the facts. It is your job as a jury, it's your job as a judge to sort through those facts to come up with your own conclusion. I think they really disassociate themselves from the reality of it and the morality of it. They just look at it like a job. Because I mean, I know lawyers that are like, yeah, like there's sometimes like I don't want to represent it, but like they gotta eat. I'm sure there are some ethical lawyers out there who are like, I'm not taking your case, brother. But I know lawyers who are just like, it's a job, and I'm just gonna argue the set of the facts that are given to me.
I think you have some clients that you truly believe are innocent, and you go hard for them, and then you tell yourself everybody has the right to the best defense that they can have, even if you think the person's guilty.
Yep.
I mean, in this case, Jason did it, so getting OJ out.
You know who believes you, Bill? You know who would have agreed with you?
Who?
Apparently Norm Macdonald. So Norm made all those jokes about OJ on SNL. In fact, he was fired from Weekend Update because he just wouldn't stop making fun of OJ. And they're funny jokes. And in hindsight, it looks like, yeah, okay, Norm, you shouldn't have been fired. He got fired because one of the execs at NBC was good friends with OJ Simpson. And so he told him several times, like, stop making these jokes on Weekend Update. And then Norm just made more jokes because Norm was the best. But later on in life, he apparently accepted the theory that Simpson's son Jason did it. And in 2017, he was hosting a podcast and he wanted to get OJ on. He said, I'm not completely sure he's guilty anymore. I'm almost completely sure, but I'm not completely sure. So he had some questions about it too.
Now, the reactions, do we really think LA was going to riot if he was convicted?
So
that's a whole element that
might have, yeah.
After the Rodney King trial, people were very, very upset because you had a video of
they rioted. There was LA riots after.
Yeah. You had video of cops beating the shit out of somebody, and then people just said, no, they're fine. This is okay.
But not only that, like the political and racial tensions in LA at that time were massive. Probably more so than it is today. Yeah, way more than it is today. And it was just a very, like this, like I say, we don't live in a post-racial society. It is very prevalent when shit like this happens. When boxers box each other and they represent their size, you can see the divide in the country still very prevalent. And so back then it was even worse. There's a big possibility that was a major factor in why he walked. But I think that's a point that I think gets thrown around too much because it absolves the prosecution for the lackluster job that they did. I do think the racial element was a part of it and the Rodney King riots was a part of it. But I think weighing too heavy on that absolves the prosecution for fucking up royally.
Yeah, there was one juror that said that her not guilty vote was payback for Rodney. That was Carrie Bess. And in the documentary, which you should watch, OJ Made in America, one of the best documentaries of all time. It's long, it's multi-part, but it is fantastic.
ESPN made it.
It's it might be on HBO or Max. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But
I'd assume it's on maybe Disney Plus because it was an ESPN thing.
I don't know if it'll be on. It includes the pictures, like of the crime scene. So it's pretty brutal.
It's on ESPN, Hulu, and ESPN. It looks like.
Yeah, watch it if you haven't seen it yet. It's how many episodes? Like 5?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, it's really good. It's long, very, very good. So they interviewed one of the jurors, and she said that it was payback for Rodney King, and she said that as many as 90% of the fellow jurors felt the same way. So it definitely had an impact on that jury. But to Arian's point, the prosecution also sucked. Marsha Clark was out there freeballing. What do you call it when ladies freeball? Guys only answer this.
Outdoor cat.
Oh, that sundress season, brother.
Outdoor cat. That's gonna be tough to beat.
I assume women do that shit all the time.
I would.
What? Not wearing underwear?
If I was a woman, I would never wear underwear. Fuck that.
I think I'm gonna choose to not comment on
Yeah,
this.
don't you guys don't have to comment. That's why I made this fellas only.
Yeah.
Fellas, can we be misogynist for a little bit?
Yeah.
Huh? Can we?
Dudes can't even be misogynistic anymore.
It sucks.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Podcast too.
Yeah, podcast no less.
Our sacred place.
What the hell?
Dudes on a podcast can't even be misogynistic anymore.
What did this country come to?
All right. Well, anything else we want to talk about with this trial?
I saw
Michael Jackson's innocent.
Yeah. I saw a tweet.
That comedian bit sold me too far that any argument can't convince me. The one where he was like, I have cool stuff in my house for women because when they come over, I want them to be impressed and like it there. Michael Jackson did that for children. And I was like, yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, because you didn't look at the evidence, nigga.
I saw a tweet one time that said, like, because remember, like, there was an OJ interview of him talking to this woman, and then afterwards it said that he had a surprise for her, and it's him, like, breaking in and pretending to stab her.
Yeah, that is
And he
great.
made the noise.
That's the noise he makes.
Someone tweeted that and said, like, it'd be crazy. It'd be crazier that if OJ was innocent and he just had, like, the worst vibes of all time, and he, like, didn't kill her, but, like, he just chose to act like that.
And
he was innocent.
She took it the wrong way.
Psychotic move.
Yeah.
She took it wrong.
Yeah,
She
this
don't
whole
get my
time.
sense of humor. She doesn't get my dark sense of humor.
It was never going to work out between us anyways.
Yeah, either way, it's a psycho ass move, dog. Like
The weirdest
innocent,
thing was
crazy, guilty, even more fucking crazy.
The craziest thing was the viral videos of girls like going up and hitting on him at bars. And I was like, geez.
People love fame, bro. There's people. What was he doing? Who was that? Wisconsin dude that allegedly murdered that person, and then somebody. He married somebody, some fan from jail and shit. Like people are fucking crazy. Dog.
I mean, that's how Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
You want people like that to be fucking jurors and shit. Fuck that.
No, that's
Crazy.
a common thing. Like women fall in love with serial killers sometimes if they're on
Yeah.
TV. Ted Bundy.
And then they're jurors.
Ted Bundy was one. It's a pretty common thing. Bad boys.
Don't normalize it. That's fucking insane.
Dude, I had to take that it's like something primal. Like if he's the best killer, like back in the day, that used to mean something.
Yeah. Protect your family.
Yeah.
Or kill
like
them.
if you link up with the killer, you won't get killed.
But if they're in prison for killing women, like Ted Bundy, you see what I'm saying?
Don't understand that. I'm not a woman.
A vigilante. If
You're not?
If there's
I'm
a vigilante that was in prison for killing predators, then there might be like a primal instinct behind it.
So I just looked it up.
Dexter.
It's when people are sexually attracted to serial killers, it's known as Bonnie and Clyde syndrome. And it's people think, or experts think that it's because you know where that person is. Like they're in jail, you can choose when to reach out to that person or if you reach out to that person. So ultimately you are the one in control. So it's like a control thing. Another is that if you form a relationship with a convicted murderer, you gain attention, you're interviewed. So there is like a way to gain status there.
Yeah, you're close to fame.
Yeah,
like
a lot
any type of fame. And then it's like a part-time spouse. They're like your step-husband.
Right. Like you don't have to like have the same level of commitment to that person. And it also says that men or women that are in the situation have had a lot of childhood trauma most of the time and have little control over their own childhood. Therefore, marrying someone behind bars is a way for them to vicariously gain the control that they crave.
Got it.
Dude, breaking up with someone in prison, I mean, probably so easy. Just
send them a letter.
Just be like, yo.
You don't even got to do that.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty easy ghost.
Yeah.
Don't fucking answer their collect call.
Yeah.
That'd be tough, dude. You're in prison and like you think you have a girlfriend and then just eventually she just stops talking to you.
No, I saw this. There's this I guess it's a documentary on Netflix where there was I think it was in Arkansas or Alabama or something like that. There's a prison and a mayor who wanted to try the
sheriff.
Yeah, it was sheriff. There you go. Who wanted to try the Nordic version of prison systems, to where there's like, I don't know, 30 guys on a block, and instead of like closing the doors, they were on a 23-hour lockdown with 1 hour of a yard time. What he implemented, where you just open doors in there, and you just start treating them a little bit more humanely. And oddly enough, like what started happening was fascinating. Now, obviously, like, some of these guys are on trial for murder. Some of these guys are, you know what I'm saying? But like you started to see like a little community, and granted, like there was still some fights and stuff like that, but shit, we fight too as free people. Like there was a lot of like, cohesion that started to boil over time. And I know there's a lot of people who would never give criminals humanity, but to me, that is a perfect encapsulation of, if you like start to treat prisoners like, all right, you fucked up, but let's integrate you back into society. They started to form community, they started to form a bond, and it's like a sense of purpose. It was really inspiring. So then they interviewed some guys that ended up leaving because they did their time. And it was like, yo, that experience changed my life, because it was like, you get to see like grown men handling the problems one-on-one, without violence. Sometimes violence happened, but it was like, it really was inspiring on some hope for humanity type shit. But I suggest that anybody interested in check it out. I think it's called Lockdown, maybe on Netflix.
Unlocked, I think.
Unlocked,
I'm watching it right
there
now.
you go.
I forget
Unlocked.
the title, but
It's a fire little series, though.
I watched it. The main character in the first couple episodes, true story.
True story.
That guy's wild.
I like that dude though. He was right though. He's like,
he was right. He also,
I'm not gonna do nothing. Watch that.
Yeah, he took it all away. He's like, fine, I don't have to do anything. See what you
And
guys
to
do.
his point, they started wilding after he kind of took control, and then they got locked down for a day. So he had a point.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk more about that, because there's a lot to get into that show. But that does it for today's macrodosing. Love you guys. Love you, Billy. Good luck.
That does it for me. No,
Clap it up.
I'll be out here.
Clap it up. Subscribe to Audio Crack.
It's coming out. Please support my socials. If you enjoy some of the topics that I brought up, check it out. It's been a great ride with you guys. When we were vibing there, I kind of forgot about the whole situation. I was having fun. Then I just remembered. It's cool. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you, PFT. Thank you, Arian. Thank you, Big T. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Mad Dog. Matt McKenzie. And thank you to all the Macrodosians out there.
All right. Love you, buddy.